not on here.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's go. It's game time.
Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. I grew up on the 50s, I love my whole city. Got the little ones with me, I ain't going back to prison. House with a yard, I get my own unlocks, I walk my own yard. I'm Figueroa filthy, where I come from, dog, everybody's filthy. Get your hands dirty with them concrete burpees. Beer runs and licks, my heart was made, dog, with every single brick. Legend in my own, I get my little shine on. Got a house loan, I see a hater smiling, broke with a mouth full. Run with my ninjas, used to gun with my ninjas, used to split top ramens on the hood with my ninjas. Can I get a moment?
Is that yours or is that mine, bro?
What's that? That's probably me.
Yeah, turn that off, yeah.
Guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment?
Happy Monday, everybody. Hope y'all had a blessed one. Welcome to Hood Stocks. I see everybody's tapping in right now. Much love, much respect. You know what I mean? It's Monday and shit. You know, sometimes we got to just ease into this week, you know, and if you got to pop open a cold one or pour yourself a glass of wine or however you want to do it, you know, it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a hot one. Before I start this podcast, I want to tell you guys something real quick. I want to throw this out there, you know, and this is just for the love and the benefit of the supporters and our families, right? What the news is not telling you about this coronavirus is all they're fucking telling you is to put a mask on, put a mask on, put a mask on. And yeah, you know what I mean? You know, maybe we should, you know, put a mask on for sure. You know what I mean? But what they're not telling you is a lot of these people in the hospital that have contracted COVID-19, they are vitamin D deficient, and zinc. They're low on zinc as well, you know? So this is what we need to do. And this is crazy because the news isn't telling us this shit, you know? Check it out. Between all of us right here, buy yourself a bottle of zinc, buy yourself some vitamin C, buy yourself some vitamin D. Make that a part of your regimen every single fucking day. You wake up in the morning or when you get back from work, take your fucking vitamins. If you are over fucking weight, like myself, I don't like running. Maybe we should start walking. Maybe we should start riding a bike. Take the kids out. I don't know, do something. But the best way we can fight this virus right now is health. Like they say, health is wealth. Health is fucking everything. Without health, we ain't shit.
No doubt.
You know? So if the time comes, knock on wood, that it doesn't for nobody right here, but it has for a lot of people that I know. I mean, let's be in the best shape as possible, if need be, to fight a virus. And that's just love right there, you know?
True.
Okay. Got that off my chest. Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
Here we go. In LA, the 1990s was a treacherous time in history. Gangbang culture was at its pinnacle peak of combustion. The faces, the lives, the tattooed tears were beyond real. Mothers cried and homies retaliated, while a lot of us just tried to survive to the next day. That's real talk. Only a few have made it out that era, the 90s, right? Well, today, against all odds and the grace of the higher power, blessing this platform with a story you don't ever want to have to tell yourself, I want you all to give it up for Isaac Pedrosa, a.k.a. Sticks, Varrio, LOMAS. Let's go. It's game time, baby boy.
Let's get it.
How you doing, my G?
Blessed, bro.
Blessed. That's good, my boy.
I'm alive. I'm healthy. Like you said, without your health, you ain't got nothing. You on your back.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. I mean, do you have you heard like what I'm talking about in regards to the zinc and the vitamin C? I mean, the vitamin D.
Yes, sir. I've heard about the remedies. I live out there in the Imperial Valley, which is like 4 hours away from LA, and the doctors over there, they've been using the zinc. They've been using the different, hydroxychloroquine and the other stuff, and people been getting, they're good. You know what I mean? They're good. I know there's a lot of controversy behind that and Trump saying it and all that. But you're right, man. The vitamins, it's also precautionary. A lot of people take that, like you said, they take it before you even, you know what I mean? Before it even shows up, you're already good. You know what I'm saying? You're good. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with everything we were saying, man.
100%. And check it out. If you ain't motherfucking twinning, you ain't motherfucking winning.
Lakers.
Baby. Hey, this shit wasn't planned out.
Yeah, it wasn't planned.
Homie rolled up and said, "You gonna change, right?" Yeah, he's crazy as fuck with that one, huh? Hey, shit, homie. I mean, but check it out, bro. I mean, you from LA, homie. What the fuck else you wearing this week, bro?
You guys probably wearing the same thing right now.
Yeah, they wearing the same thing. Real shit, dog. Hey, shout out to, much love, Geraldo. Homeboy, appreciate that. $4.99, that's always love. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a great week, bro. Yeah. I mean, we got fucking Dame Dollar. You know, the Trailblazers, my boy. You know what I mean? They're tough little squad, bro. I don't know. We're gonna whoop them, but I don't think we're gonna whoop them easy though. They're gonna put up a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. But hey, brother, thank you so much for, like I said, coming through to share your story, bro. You know, a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of DMs, a lot of messages, and everybody, if they don't know you, they're speaking highly of you. And a lot of people are really happy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of people are happy that we connected, dog, and you were here on the platform, bro. So
yes, sir.
Whenever you're ready, bro. I mean, wherever you want to start, dog.
Well, I mean, I can start from the beginning. That's always a good thing.
Hey, why don't we just start? No, let's do something different. Let's start in the middle.
Okay.
And then let's start in the beginning. No, just fuck everybody. They're like, wait, hold on a second. Nah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure everybody knows. You know, I say ex-gang member, but I'm still from my neighborhood, man. I still, you know, got ties to my neighborhood. Love my neighborhood. I love my homeboys. You know, we out there. For those of you who don't know, I'm from LOMAS, South San Gabriel, and Rosemead. I was raised there pretty much all my life, but I grew up in Boyle Heights.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Boyle Heights till I was like 7, and then I moved to Monterey Park, went to Rosemead, boom. But I started young, man. I started at like 9 years old, bro. 9 years old, I was already hanging around with the homies, man. 4th grade.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, Lomas. That's a. I mean, how old is your neighborhood, brother?
Pretty old, bro. Before we had the name Lomas, it was already a neighborhood. But I would say officially, technically, I would say late 60s. Late 60s, huh? Yeah. It became Lomas and been here ever since, man.
For some reason, I thought you guys went further back than that. But then again, you said it was there before you guys. It was there,
yeah. It does go further back. But technically, I like to say it's when it became Lomas, because that's where I'm from, Lomas, you know. But technically, it's the same neighborhood, but that started around the late 60s.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. So go ahead.
So yeah, man. That's you know I've been that's all I've known and done since I was a kid, man. Is gangbang, man. Been out there in them streets like you read in the intro, man. Man, gangbanging back then in the late 80s, 90s. It was you can't even describe it, bro, with words, but you know, those of you that know, man, it was a crazy time to be raised as far as with the gang and the gang culture in LA. And it was active, man. All the streets were active. I seen a lot of stuff, man, at an early age. And at the time, you can't tell how it affects you until later, man. Later on, you know, I mean, you start feeling that. I think I'm feeling it now. Post-traumatic.
100%.
For sure, man.
I mean, if you think about it, bro. I mean, when you're a kid, bro. I mean, the thought process, the brain capacity, you're in development of just your whole. I mean, your dick is still growing, bro. You know what I mean? You're growing, you're developing, you're in the process. So when you're going, I mean, this is just the way I see it, bro. when you started at fucking 9 years old. That's crazy as fuck, dog. I didn't start at no motherfucking 9 years old, homie. That's crazy than a motherfucker, dog. I mean, but it's like a roller coaster ride. It's like it's just fucking like it's your what do you call them in your brain, bro? When you're releasing them fucking things, homie, you know?
What do you call it? Not endorphins.
Yeah.
You're talking about they teach you that in
serotonins and all this other motherfucking shit in your head. They teach that in AA or NA and all that shit, dog. Fuck, I'm gonna think of that fucking word right now. Go ahead and throw it out there right now. Slap us in the face with it.
When you get high, it releases this euphoric stuff that creates this euphoria in your mind.
But that's naturally what you were fucking doing, dog. Yeah. That's naturally what you were doing. So you along this crazy ass ride. Fuck yeah, homie. At the end of that motherfucking ride, homie, your back hurts. You're having these weird dreams.
Man, you can't even.
You don't want to. You hear a motherfucking fire. 4th of July pops off, homie. Dopamines. Thank you, my G. The metal.
Dopamine. There
Dopamines.
You go.
Yeah. Thank you, my G. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Who else is that right there? J6.
Dopamine. Yeah. J6T. Yup.
Yeah.
And the Metal Hound.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you, Evan. Thank you. Who is that right there? Let me say, Milo, the G. Thank you, brother, for the $9.99, homie. Much love, brother. Thank you so much, dog. Very appreciated, dog. But yeah, you're releasing those fucking natural things. But I'm just saying, so after the end of that fucking ride, bro, you know, fuck yeah, homie. You hear, 4th of July pops off. Like I had the homie right here from 18, and he said on the 4th of July,
I heard that.
He's got to put headphones on, bro.
Crazy, man.
Poor thing, dog. I mean, and I mean that with the most love and and respect, dog. Because honestly, homie, I've been in so many situations, bro. That sometimes you can ask my girl right now. She'll tell you 100%, dog. My girl would tell you, dog, that we go to these sometimes in out there in my area. The Eagle Rock Park has a big fireworks show, dog. You know what I mean? So we go there, we lay the blankets out and shit, and we watch them. And sometimes, dog, my girl will look at me and she's like, "You're not enjoying this, are you?" And I'm just like, it's cool. You know what I mean? But she knows.
And you're trying to fight that, though.
Yeah.
You're trying to like you don't want to be like that, but it's just there, bro.
It's just pounding. It pounds me in my head, bro. Pop, 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 pop. It's pounding me in my fucking head, homie. And there's been so many times I've been trying to get out of situations, homie, and I get that pop, 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 and it feels like, and there's been times, dog, where you can just feel the I don't know, the compression. I
feel that in my chest, bro. I feel it in my chest, and I start getting anxiety, and you start. Anybody that knows me, man, you guys know I suffer and struggle with anxiety, man, and my wife, she can tell you, man. There's been times where I'm like, I've been to the hospital before it, bro.
Well, check it out. How come you don't take nothing for? Do you take anything for it?
I've tried, bro. I can't. Those pills.
Xanax.
I haven't tried Xanax, bro. But
homie.
I tried something, and I ain't gonna lie, bro. Woo! I was having some crazy thoughts, man.
Check it out, bro. Before you leave, I have a very small dosage of Xanax, dog. Let me give you a few of those, brother. You know what I mean? And next time you're feeling overwhelmed with that sensation, you know what I mean? What do they call it?
I might have to do a little research on the Xanax, but yeah, bro, I was thinking about it. Someone told me about that, bro. I've
tried different things, bro, and that works for me, dog. I mean, there was a point in time, and I don't mean to sound like a little bitch about this shit,
I'm kind of scared about that. Like you said, I don't mean to sound like that either, but I'm kind of scared of the pills, bro. Like,
it's scary, bro. That's why I take a small dosage, because even pills gives me anxiety. That's how bad my anxiety is. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit, if I take this, it's gonna really fuck me up.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Same thing, bro.
You know, and so I have a very small dosage that just does the thing. It's just like a glaze on top of the fucking shit, and it fucking just like it stunts the growth of it, dog. But I'll be honest with you, bro. So all the times I've been in the oil and shit, dog, you know what I mean, locked behind that door, not being able to get out, bro. When they put you in the stand-up coffin cages, bro, going into the hole, going into the pre-hole.
What about the court tanks in the county, bro, being in them damn tanks? Like, oh.
Fuck the court tanks, homie. How about the fucking, the bus cages, homie?
Yeah, bus cage. I was talking about the high power court tanks. My bad.
Okay.
I don't mean the
no,
yeah.
Talking
about the high power. You're by yourself. And you're in a little cage. You're like, and sometimes sometimes they forget about you, bro. I'm talking about like hours. They forgot about you. You're in limbo.
Yeah, you're stuck in that bitch.
You're in limbo, bro. They didn't come get you. Oh, they came like 4 hours ago. I'm like, oh man, like you start. Man,
check it out, bro. So there came a point in time, dog, of me being out, dog, adjusting to the world, bro. on this long journey that I've been up to this point now, dog, which is day and night, my G, 100% of who I was and who I am now, dog. Steven, thank you, my G. But I didn't really like to get in elevators, homie.
Oh, me either, bro. I'll take the stairs, bro.
I'll take the
my
stairs,
wife.
homie.
Hey, my wife, she'll come out here, bro. She'll tell the whole world, I gotta take the stairs.
So, but I'm good now.
I get in some. Oh, you're good now.
I get in all of them now, bro.
Okay, yeah,
but
man.
check it out. I really got thrown for a loop, my boy, because I started working construction and we're working in downtown LA on the fucking 56th floor, homie. And when you get in these freight elevators,
be able to do it.
you don't get in regular elevators, you get in freight elevators. And when you get in these freight elevators, it's nuts to butts with a ton of motherfucking different trades, construction workers trying to get to their floor on time so they're not late, bro. So, homie, we are like sardines in this shit, dog. Freight elevators, construction, hard hats, and we're fucking tools. You can't even breathe. The motherfuckers are like making jokes, like, dick jokes, like, hey, what were you poking me in the back? Like, shit that we do, fuck around, whatever. But yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it, bro. I'll be honest, man. I wouldn't be that high. Like, and then the way you're saying, like a freight elevator, whew.
So you're afraid of heights?
I'm afraid of heights, but with the anxiety, it adds on a whole nother element to that, bro. I'm like,
so check it out, bro. Check it out. In 2 weeks, bro, we got this fucking thing going in New York, dog, and they're gonna cash us out, 10 racks each, dog. It's all we gotta be there is fucking 2 nights, dog. You wanna fly out there?
What is it for?
I'm just asking. You wanna fly out there?
I probably want to do it.
Not even for the 10 racks?
Probably not.
I mean, it's not a lot of money. For me, it's a lot of money,
I'm
bro.
gonna keep it real. I flying, if it was something that I know it's gonna be benefit someone or benefit me. I mean, I'm not gonna probably just do it just because it's gonna benefit me. Like, but I mean, it depends, man. It depends. But getting on a plane, I think I could do it, bro. And but as far as stuff like that, bro, I've got it in elevators. Don't get me wrong, and I get in some, the see-through at the mall and stuff like that. But if I have a choice and I'm feeling that, I'm gonna take the stairs, man. I'm like, if they have stairs, If they don't, then I'm gonna man up and be like, all right.
How long you been out?
I've been out 7 years, bro.
7. You've been out the exact same time I've been out. I've been out 7 years too, bro. You know what I mean? You need to just. So you've been basically moving the way you want to move.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I haven't been able to move 100% the way I want to move because I'm in these situations where I got to get to the 56th floor, bro. Yeah. Now I get to that 56th floor, homie, or I lose my motherfucking job, dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so when that elevator cracks open, homie, and there's fucking 20 dudes in a fucking, exaggerating, 10 dudes in a freight elevator, homie, I got to squeeze in there, dog. I got to get that money.
If I was you, I'd do the same thing, bro. You know what I mean? You guys just you know what I mean? You got a family, beautiful family, bro. You're going to have to do what you got to do, bro. You know what I mean? I would do the same for my son and my wife if I had to. I'm a bus driver. I drive buses, bro. The city, I used to actually drive the in LA, the Foothill Transit. But I'm a bus driver, bro. I haven't been working for the past 4 months because of the whole COVID.
Yeah.
Half the half the company's off and half the company on. But as a bus driver, bro, where I live, you gotta go a long distance, and I'm getting anxiety driving, bro. Like, cause you gotta pass the semis, and you're right there in the front. As a bus driver, that's it. It's a wrap. The bus driver's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm driving. I gotta do it though. You know what I mean? I'm working. I gotta eat. I gotta feed my family.
Well, no hard feelings, bro. If I ever get on the bus, bro, I see you driving it and I walk off that bus, homie.
I'm a good driver though.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get the next bus. I think I know this guy. I saw him on Hood Stocks,
For real.
Yeah, bro. Hope your boss ain't watching, homie. Nah. They're like, oh shit, is that the way you feel, my G?
Nah, even if they know it's small, bro. Everybody knows, but he might be watching. Shout out to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say your name, but
yeah, no doubt, bro. So it's funny, bro. You know what I mean? Because dudes, like PTSD is a real fucking thing,
real,
homie.
man.
It's real. It's real for motherfuckers in the hood. It's real for motherfuckers that come back from war. It's real for women that have been in bad relationships. You know what I mean? It's a very broad spectrum, homie, of PTSD, dog, and it's all suffered from basically
even people that weren't gang members. They grew up in the hood. They grew up in the hood, and they might have had like a certain element of the gang banging, like in their area or whatever. Even they might have that. You know what I mean? They might struggle with some of that.
Yeah, 100%, dog, 100%. So okay, so here you are. 9 years old, dog.
9 years old, man.
Fucking already running the fucking streets, bro.
Yeah. I just told some youngsters right there from my city. They don't back up the neighborhood, but they're from the area, and I was like, what kind of good decisions, wise decisions does a 9-year-old make? Like, people, they talk about gang members and this and that. They're talking about the bad stuff, but they don't know the realities. Like, I pretty much grew into that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, how vulnerable are you at 9 years
Right?
old,
Yeah.
brother? Yeah, I mean, you're with the worst of the worst at 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
bro. You're with fucking convicts already. You're hanging out with convicts, homie, already at 9 years old, brother.
Yeah.
That right there, dog.
I got jumped in when I was 12, but I started backing up. I backed up the hood for like 3 years.
Before they said, all right,
Before, yeah.
all right,
I was too small.
little homie.
Yeah, I was too young.
Yeah.
They didn't, but I was there. I was already in the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Now, I mean, before you were sticks, that's when you were a popsicle stick. You were just a little motherfucker.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was always the smallest dude, bro. For a long time, I was the smallest dude from the hood as far as size. You know what I mean? Size,
The stature and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. So you get jumped in at 12 years old, bro. You know what I mean? And where's life taking you, bro?
Man, so I get jumped in at 12 years old, and right around that time, I'm already it's on, man. It's 100%, man. I'm already started going to jail, going to East Lake. I lost my my first homeboys. I think that's one of the things that affected me as a young kid is losing. I lost 2 of my homeboys at once. They both got I think stabbed and shot. They in one shot. You know what I mean? They it was a long story, but pretty much the cops set them up, bro. They were in the enemy's neighborhood, and they left them walking in the enemy's neighborhood, and they got caught slipping, bro, and they lost their lives. Those 2 were my first homeboys that I lost as a kid, where it hit, because they were the homies, bro. We were young, we're kids, we're friends, and to lose 2 homies at once, the reality of death kicked in, bro. You know what I'm saying? The reality, like, whoa,
This is real shit.
this
I got
is
myself.
real.
Yeah.
This is real. Like, whoa. And the whole pride factor comes in, and you're like, that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. I made the choice. That's it.
That's when the mentality starts getting developed, into kill or be killed.
Yeah, and then exactly. Then you start.
I'm not saying that you were killing, but I'm just saying
yeah.
it's a mentality,
But the
and
mentality,
it's a metaphor. You know what I mean? You really it's a survival. It's a
But
survival
I started
instinct.
gangbanging. I will say that I was gangbanging. You know what I mean? And back then, bro. Back then it was crazy, man. It was a different time. You know what I mean? It's different now. I think that's a good thing in some ways. You know what I mean? Less people getting killed, less little kids getting killed, because that's what it is. Little kids getting killed. Little 12-year-old, 13-year-old, that's a little kid, man. So yeah, that's when it really started kicking in, bro. The reality of gang life, and start going to juvenile hall, start going to camp, start going to placements, start going to. I've been all over, bro. I've been placements, I've been in camps, I've been in all of that, bro. Central and fighting and all that.
Yeah.
Went through that whole stage, you know what I mean? But as we were talking about off camera, I went to the county jail when I was 16 years old. And back then, the county was something else, man. And I'm grateful now that I went through that experience, because it instilled something in me that I couldn't have gotten nowhere else. But it was crazy, man. I lied to the cops, and I gave them a different name because I had a YA commitment. If they would have arrested me, I AWOL from camp, they would have arrested me, I would have went to YA. So for me to not go to YA, I gave them a fake name, and I went to the county.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And then I ended up in prison. I fought a kidnap case, bogus kidnap case. And I got out after like 6 months, and then I went right back about a month later. This was around the year of 1995. I went to prison for my first time December 5th, which is my wife's birthday. Shout out to my wife. I love you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and happy birthday.
Late birthday.
Yeah. So December 5th, 1995 was my first day in prison. And with me and my homeboy Largo that I told you that used to live out there by your area, Cypress.
Yeah.
That was my homeboy Largo, rest in peace, man. So me, him, and like 3 other homies, bro. We went to prison, man. We went to prison, first term. You know what I mean? Kicked off a riot, bro. My first term, man, in Delano. My homeboy Stranger just got out. and we were just reminiscing, bro. We kicked off a riot in the reception in the C yard where it's dorms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some white dudes, you know what I mean? They didn't want to take care of their business, so we just took care of all of them dudes. You know what I mean? We planned it out and kicked it off, bro, and went to the hole, stayed in the hole, bro, for about 6, 7, 8 months. Started kicking up dust right there in the hole. Man, getting in trouble. Cell extractions, you know what I mean? Regulating dudes on the yard. You name it, bro. You know what I mean? We were doing it, and my point shot up, level 4, ended up in Calipatria, level 4. It was a transition. It was a level 4 level. They were transitioning to level 3, I think, but I ended up getting out. But yeah, man, that was it, man. In and out, bro. In and out. Back to the hood, gang banging, you know what I mean? Drugs, getting high, meth, you know, partying, guns, women, all of that, bro. All of that stuff. Cruising the boulevard, you know what I'm saying?
The trifecta.
Yeah.
Hood rats, drugs, gang banging.
Yeah, that's what it was, bro. That's what it was, man. And in and out, bro. In and out of prison. You know what I mean? I've been all over. Chino, Tehachapi 180, New Corcoran 180, Centinela 4 yard, Centinela 3 yard, Old Corcoran, you know what I'm saying? Delano mainline, the hole, you know what I mean? The hole, I've been in the hole, stayed in the hole for years before, you know what I mean? That's it, man. That was my life, bro. That was my life, man. That's it. That's all I knew.
That's all you knew. That's what the lifestyle was all about. That's what the invisible contract said that you had to upheld. You had to go. You know what I mean, you had to do this, that, and that.
Invisible contract.
Yeah, to get the fucking, you know, get that ultimate fucking hood respect. Them stripes on the shoulder, dog. You know what I mean? So you were. I mean, there's certain dudes from certain neighborhoods, dog. Certain cats. I mean, they're just cool cats, dog, and they got a spot where all the homies kick it at. And then you got certain homies, dog, that are just out there, dog. You know what I mean? You got some homies that are fucking, they're good with the money, dog.
Yeah, there's
you
a
know
little bit
what I mean?
of everything, yeah.
You know? But it sounds like, bro, like you were that dude that was out there, bro.
I was out there, yeah. And I had my moments, you know what I mean? I had my little, you know what I mean, with the drugs and all that. But for the most part, yeah, man, that's what I cared about. I cared about the hood, taking care of the hood, you know what I mean? Patrolling the hood, you know what I mean? Being active, man. Being active in the neighborhood. I used to look at it like, if this is what we're gonna be doing, man, we're gonna go full force, man. We're gonna go full force with it, and that's it.
I mean, you weren't coming off the bench. You were the starting five.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
100%, and I feel that too, dog.
Yeah.
I feel that, dog. I mean, some people don't understand the lifestyle. They don't understand the mentality. They don't understand, like, bro, like, why would you want to be in fucking prison, away from pussy, away from freedom, in there with a fucking sausage fucking factory, bro? You know what I mean? You know, and they just don't understand that that's just a part of the lifestyle.
Part of the cycle. It's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle. But I mean, you hit the county jail. You're like, all right, fuck it. This is what it is. I can't wait to hit the yard. You know what I mean? You know, it's just, it's a vicious cycle that becomes programmed
Looking
in your...
forward to prison. When you're in the county, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fool's talking about, oh, it's vacation time.
Yeah, you're talking about what kind of TV you're gonna get already, you know what I'm saying? And all that.
Yeah, what you gonna get tattooed on you this time?
Yeah,
you know?
who you gonna get, you know what I mean? Your little runner, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff starts coming into play, or, you know, how you gonna make some money, all that, bro. All that comes into play, man.
Start navigating fucking just, you know what I mean, everything that's around you, 100%, bro. You know, so you're going in and out of the fucking system, bro. You know, you get to a point where you go back in. Mm-hmm. You said you were out for a few. Am I jumping ahead too far?
No, so we can. I know where you're getting to. I can lead up to that.
Let's
pretty much in 2003.
Take your time, brother.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
In 2003 was a vicious time that I was out there. As far as it kind of turned into the early 90s again, man. As far as gangbanging, I started doing good for a little bit, and then I ended up back in the hood, full force with it, bro. Like full 100%. Had a little crew, you know what I mean? And all I cared about was gangbanging, bro. Like that's all I cared about. And I'm not saying none of this for people watching to glorify it, because we'll get to the end. You know what I mean? There's an end to all this, but for you guys listening, man, it's not to glorify it, but I was, you know, I that's all I cared about, man. It's just the hood. the hood became my identity. As you know, it becomes your identity, and you want to protect that identity, and you want to be the biggest and baddest out there. It's all a pride thing. It's pretty, you know what I mean? I'll admit it's a pride thing.
Competition amongst homies.
Yeah, competition amongst homies, you know what I mean? I want, you know what I mean? You want to be the baddest dude, man. You want to, and me, I've always been a small dude, but that doesn't matter, man. When you're out there, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter how small you are, man. Like,
You be like, fool, you bigger than me, but my gun is bigger than you, homie.
yeah, for real.
I'm
Man.
when you was small motherfucker, that means you gotta have a bigger gun.
I used to have a saying, I'm if you catch me in the street, I'm gonna have a gun in the street and a knife in the jail, man.
Yeah.
So if you know what I mean, I'm gonna have to. You can come to it. You can come with it, but you better be prepared because I'm gonna be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
No fair fights.
No fair. Yeah, hell no. There was no such thing as no fair fights, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with fair fights. Fair fights are good, man. Sometimes you just need to squabble, man. You know what I mean? You gotta get it in, and that's just part of life, man. But all that was out the window, man. When you gangbanging, ain't none of that, you know. So, I just wanted to get that in there, man. During that time, it was pretty vicious for me, and I think it was actually even more intense than my gangbang back then because the drugs. I was one of those dudes. I was getting high, but I had a rule like, okay, if we're gonna be getting high, we're gonna be getting high, but we're gonna be doing what gang members are supposed to be doing. We're not gonna be in some garage breaking up the damn laptop. You know what I mean? Fixing the laptop or breaking the motor apart or doing some tweaker stuff. You know what I mean? We're gonna be out there doing it, you know?
One of my homies used to get mad at me, bro, because I hit the spots, dog. And I hit a spot too, spots full of homies, bro. Mm-hmm. Tweak the fuck out, dog. And what are they doing, dog? They're all sitting there, tweaked out, writing on, the Bud Light box, writing on all kinds of shit.
Practicing on their gang writing, you know what I mean?
And I'm like, bro,
that was never me, man.
the fuck you doing right here?
Yeah.
The fuck out there, homie. Go put that shit on the fucking wall, dog.
No.
I mean, that was back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my homie would be like, hey, fucking Luck, chill, bro. I mean, you gonna scare him off. Homie, check. And I would tell him, I said, homie, if this scares him off, homie, then they ain't cut for this shit, homie.
Yeah, you just did them a favor.
Yeah, they ain't made for this shit, dog. You know what I mean? And my homie would get mad at me because I was the bad guy. He was the good guy, you know what I mean? And he was good with people, dog. You know what I mean? If anyone knows who I'm talking about, they know who I'm talking about, dog. You know what I mean? He's very good with the neighborhood, very good relationships with all the homies, you know what I mean? He knew how to manage that right. I would just say it the way I felt it, dog, you know what I mean? Which was a lot of times contend to create animosity. Like, man, fuck that fool, Lucky, man. Fuck's that fool think he is, when I leave. You feel me?
When you leave, yeah.
Yeah, and I knew what it was, bro, but that was my mentality because I had a mentality, bro, where, bro, you either on the starting five, homie, or you coming off the bench. And if you coming off the bench, homie, you better go get me some motherfucking water right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
but
gotta
you
do
feel me,
something,
dog?
yeah.
Yeah, I was really like, but that was me then. This isn't me now.
Yeah.
Me now, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody fucking. I don't want to see nobody getting hurt. I don't want to see nobody getting killed.
Yeah.
I encourage people, dog, to get an education, bro. Make money. Take care of your fucking family, dog.
Take care of your family, huh?
Level yourself up, bro. Be the best person you can fucking be, dog. Because right now we got one shot at this shit, dog. I try to really encourage motherfuckers with positive shit, and that's just growing as an individual, dog. Mentally growing. I mean, I grew a lot. We were talking about being out for 7 years, dog. The same amount of time. I put myself through. I'm in like my 5th year of school now. I'm in another school on top of the school that I've been in, bro, and it has really helped me as an individual in my thought process, the way I process stuff. You know what I mean? Like they say, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, dog, because I feel like it's important, bro. You know what I mean? The brain is a muscle, my boy. You know what I mean? You got to work that bitch out, homie. You got to work that shit out, dog. And working it out is not occupying yourself 100% of the time with fucking senseless shit, dog, because you don't have to think about what you're looking at, if it's TV or if it's just some senseless ass shit, bro.
Oh yeah, the brain shuts down, man. You there's something that happens, man, when you watch TV, especially something in your brain changes, bro. Boom, and you just like shut down. You're like, it puts you like in a place where you're like a zombie, you become kind of zombified in a sense. And I'm not saying watching TV is all bad. You know what I mean? I don't really watch too much TV. I do watch. We have our phones. Mostly everybody's on their phones now.
Man, bro.
But
is that the new drug?
it's an addiction. Yeah, dopamine. Hey, gotta get the dopamine, bro.
Damn.
And what about when you don't have it?
How many likes do I got?
What about when if you're away from your phone for a certain amount of time, something even starts happening, bro. It's almost like it gradually happened, bro. They gradually got us stuck on that. I'm guilty of it.
I'm guilty
We're,
as fuck.
we're guilty, bro. We're all guilty.
I get mad at myself. Sometimes I feel
Me
like
too.
the biggest sucker in the world,
right?
dog.
Hey, you feel
I'm like,
like
damn, homie, get
disgusted.
this shit away from me,
You
dog.
feel disgusted, bro. For real, man. That's what's happening, man. So I believe that was by design. That's a whole nother topic, but I believe that happened gradually, bro, and they pretty much got us like stuck. But yeah, man, you're right, bro. The mind, you gotta stretch the mind, man. It's proven scientifically. I believe it's called a neuroplasticity, something like that. You can look it up, and it's a proven fact where the mind stretches when you learn new words. I'm a vocabulary guy. I love learning new words. I used to be more into it, but when you learn more words, it's been proven your vocabulary, your mind, your brain expands, bro. And it does something. You're stretching your brain, and same thing. You're going to school. Shout out to you, man. You're doing what you're following whatever you feel your purpose is. That's what you're doing, man. Whatever passion you got or whatever you want to do. But that plays a role too, man. It stretches you, and I'm an advocate for that too, man. Is do good, man. Just go reach. Everybody has a purpose. I'm the type of person, you probably hear a little bit more about that later, but I believe in everybody has a purpose, man. Some people ain't living out their purpose. They're just working, they're making money, but they're not really doing what they know they should be doing.
They're living, bro.
They're
just living. They're stagnant.
Stagnant.
They're stagnant in a fucking ocean, bro. How do you be stagnant in a fucking ocean, homie?
Yeah.
With these fucking big waves, homie. There's sharks. There's fucking all kinds of crazy shit. I don't want to sound like a fucking nerd, dog, but let me nerd out real quick, homie. You know what I mean? Like, you're stagnant in a fucking huge ocean, bro. Explore that bitch, homie. You know what I mean? Just fucking, like, damn, dog, the world is fucking huge. I want to travel, bro.
Yeah.
I want to go to
Me
other
too, man.
countries, homie. I just need to get on that plane, homie. I got this skydiving thing that I was looking. It's up to fucking 10 freeway. I forget where the fuck it's at. Like towards IE and shit. And I gotta put myself in positions, homie, to help myself. So it's an indoor skydiving thing. I'm not fond of heights, my G. I feel like if I get in an airplane, I feel a lot better if I have a parachute on my back. You know what I mean? I'm kind of tripping, bro. Like, I need an exit plan, dog. You know what I mean? I need something where I'm like, you know what? If this fails right here, it's all good, homie. I got myself. I'm gonna pop that door open and pop that motherfucking cord off, homie, and I'm gone, homie, while that plane goes down, bro. I need an exit strategy, dog. But anyways, I gotta challenge my mind, bro, and that's the only way I'm gonna grow. So I'm gonna put myself in an indoor skydiving thing, dog. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna fucking I'm just gonna do it, dog. You know what I mean? Just to help myself, my mental, my G.
Yeah. You gotta do stuff like that, man. I might have to do that. I might be right there with you, man.
Trying to, nah, bro. You know what, bro? Let's do it together, dog.
We'll do it.
You with
bro.
it?
I'm with it. Let's do it, bro.
Let's do it together, dog.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna pay for it, dog. I'll
Okay.
pay for it, bro. I'll pay for it. Me and you were gonna do it together because right now we connected on a level, bro, where we're like, damn, bro. I know what's going on.
I said it.
I know
That's it. It's
I know what's going on in your motherfucking head, homie, because, you know what I mean? But I think we'll talk about it later, bro. But anyway, so back to your story. You're living this life. Mm-hmm. You're going in and out of the system. You're kicking off motherfucking riots, homie. Like you said, you strapped up on the yard. You got the Fierro on you, homie. You know what I mean? No fair fights, bro. You're that dude, homie.
Yep. Yeah. That's it, man. That's the bulk of my story, bro. Is going through all that. So I believe the last part I left off was 2003, fully activated. I ended up going on a high-speed chase. November 27th, 2003 was my last day out, man. I remember it perfectly. I woke up early in the morning. It was Thanksgiving Day. and it was my birthday. They both fell on the same day. And early in the morning, me and a couple homies, and I'm gonna just keep it real. I was up to no good, bro. Early in the morning, we were hunting, bro. We're out there, you know what I mean? On my birthday, bro. Like, that's what I wanted to do, bro. That's all I cared about. We ended up on a high-speed chase. Boom. Threw on the 710, right there, right before you get into Sereno, coming from Alhambra. Boom. Jumped on right where it starts.
Valley.
710, Valley.
Yeah.
Boom. My homie was in the back. He didn't jump off. We usually had a protocol, you know what I mean? You're going to jump off with the strap, but there was really nowhere to run. So I looked at the homie. I was like, boom. Stepped on it. Lost him, bro. Lost the Alhambra PD. Got away. Didn't lose him, but I got away. We all got away. We were hiding for like an hour, half an hour. I don't know how long it was, but it was quite some time. Me and my little homie and my homeboy Trippy. Shout out to my homeboy Trippy, man. We were out there. My homeboy Baby. Shout out to my homeboy Baby. He's a lifer out there in Corcoran. He's in the shoe right now. But man, we got caught up, bro, and that was my last day. I did 4 years. I got 32 with 80. 32 months with 80% for a high-speed chase. And I ended up catching another case. I was about to get out, bro. I was 2 months fresh. About to get out. And I was in Centinela, and it was cracking with the blacks. What I mean by cracking is it was cracking as far as the doors open and sounding cracking with the blacks and the Mexicans, man. So we're on lockdown, of course. And they came and they hit the pad. They hit the cells. They hit us. And I stayed strapped. I'm ready for them doors to crack. Sometimes them doors cracked. Mysteriously, the doors will crack. And wherever doors cracked,
you gotta go.
The section I was in was just me. It was a homie from Pomona and Pacoima next door to us. And it was me and my Sally. I forget what my Sally was. They cracked the door, bro. Boom. I jump off the bunk. I was on the top bunk. And they hit us, bro. It was the COs, the correction officers. I had my strap. Big old bone crusher in my shoe. You know what I'm saying? And there was nothing I could do, bro. It was too fast. It happened too fast. I'm thinking it's wartime. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't, bro. So I went to the hole. I stayed there about a year, bro, since in Centinela. Almost a year. I say about 8 months. And then I went to the 180 in Tehachapi. And then I went to the 180 in Corcoran. I got into it again in Tehachapi in the 180. Went to the hole there. They said that the homies that we were gonna take flight on the police, that a police was gonna get stabbed. So they snatched up about 20 something of us, drug us out, bro. Straight drug us out of our cell, took us to the hole, kept us in the hole. From there, I went to New Corcoran. From New Corcoran, I stayed there only a couple months, and I went home, bro. They cracked my door open mysteriously. I didn't even know I was gonna go home that day. On January 1st, 2008, they cracked my door open, and I walked out. I walked out, bro. I didn't even know I was gonna get out. I only stayed out a month and a half. I went to go live in Rancho Cucamonga, but I was in my hood every day. Went to live in Rancho Cucamonga with my sister, and I had to transfer my parole to Ontario from LA, from Rio Hondo, Almani. And then, so I go walk on February 14th, I walk in to see my parole officer, and I walk in and I see 2 homicide detectives, bro. And my parole officer, I see 2 gang unit dudes, a female and a dude with the green jackets, right? Sheriffs, and they try to question me about a murder that happened in 1998. They try to question me, and I told them, man, I just got out of prison. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't got nothing to do with that. You know, they threw some names out there. They threw a name out there, bro. There was one of my older homeboys. He's resting in peace now. They wanted to get him too. He was in the Bay, you know what I mean, and he was getting out. And I believe that's why they went digging up. They try to dig up these old cases, and they filed on him, bro. They filed on him, and they try to turn me against them. They offered me my freedom, bro. You know, they were like, just work with us, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, I don't even know that dude, and I didn't. I didn't even know him, bro. My older homie, I didn't even know who he was, bro. And so boom, they tell me stand up. They slapped the cuffs on me, and I was on my way to LA County. I spent the next 5 years in the LA County jail, man. I spent from 2008 to 2013 in the LA County jail, bro. And I got a million stories to tell you about that, but obviously we ain't got enough time. But that was a journey, bro. That from that point forward is where things started getting real, man, and my life was on the line, bro. My life was on the line, and so I had some dump truck attorneys, and I had to let go of them. You know what I mean? I had to let go of the state appointed I had in the beginning. Let go of him. My family got me an attorney, but the money wasn't right. I don't have that kind of money for an attorney for a murder. Boom. They you know what I mean? They're not for your best interest, bro. So when the money ain't right, so boom, I had to fire that attorney, and then I went ProPurge. For those of you guys who don't know what ProPurge is, I represented myself, man, for 3.5 years.
You represented.
I
yourself
represented
in court.
myself for 3.5 years. I was going to Pasadena court. From Pasadena court, they didn't have the security because it was a high-profile case, right? So, you know, they were saying it was a organized hit, you know what I mean? They're I won't say the names, but they're, you know, organized crime type of stuff they were saying, allegedly. And they didn't have a security at Pasadena court, so they bonded us over to CCB court. That's where I really started fighting my case. And I was bad. I was in the lion's den, bro. I was in the lion's den battling not only the DA, but the judge. The judge was a crooked, grimy judge, bro. And he was violating my rights every step of the way, man. I was ProPurge. They hate ProPurge, bro.
So check it out, bro. Let's pause this real quick. I have a question for you, dog. So when you were housed in LA County, do you mind talking where you're housed at?
No, I don't mind.
Initially,
I was in the main line, you know what I'm saying? Waist side, all that. Then when I went ProPurge, they put me in the ProPurge module, which back then was in the 2000 floor. It's still main line, but it's the ProPurge module.
Yeah.
Single cells.
Yeah.
They had us, ProPurge, everybody fighting murders, bro. Everybody was on that ProPurge module. It was almost like a gang module, bro. Everybody fighting murders. You know what I mean? It was active. The blacks, you know what I mean? Everybody was fighting murders. Upstairs they had the homosexual, and that was vicious, bro. Like they had them on top of us. And they're wild. They don't adhere by the same rules we do. You know what I'm saying?
They do what the fuck they want to do.
They do what the hell they want to do.
They're fucking up there. They're sucking dick.
Yeah, they're doing some crazy stuff, bro. Moaning and doing some crazy stuff. And we used to take flight on them whenever we can, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever we could. But
Why?
they were on site because they wouldn't shut down.
They wouldn't shut the fuck up.
You gotta shut down the program, and they wouldn't respect. We're fighting for our life.
Were they in single cells as well?
They were doing that on purpose. I believe the cops were doing that on purpose because they don't like ProPurge, and they know that these people are not gonna adhere by our rules, and they wanna dissuade us from being ProPurge.
They were trying to get in your head.
It was psychological warfare, bro. Psychological warfare. They were. I believe. I went through all kind. Like I said, I got so many stories. I believe in the county they're doing experiments on people. Even we can get to some of that in a little bit where I ended up later, but I started off there, bro. ProPurge, and that right there was crazy, bro. It was crazy, and then it started cracking with the blacks. You know what I mean? It started cracking with the blacks. One of the homies died. Long story, drugs involved, and he died. And a homie from Harpy's, I think it was Trippy, passed away, and then it was on and cracking, man. The whole county, the whole county started cracking behind that event, and they snatched us up, bro. They snatched us up. It wasn't only that. There was some other stuff going on in the county, political stuff, and we started fighting amongst each other, and then they snatched us all up, boom. And then I ended up in 1750, which is, back then, I think now it's different. Back then was like the most high power you can be, 1750, you know what I mean?
It's high profile cases. High profile cases. I believe Suge Knight would be in 1750, right?
He was on Evro.
Yeah. The elite of the elite.
I was there with DMX. He was in the role, and of course in the what do you call that? The celebrity role, F role at 1750. He used to come to our showers. I was on E-roll at the time, and he used to come with DMX. He was there for a little bit.
What was that fool talking about, though?
He was just there, bro. I don't know. We chopped it up and done what's up, but not really, you know what I mean? Nothing much. He wasn't really, but it was a trip hearing that fool, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he'd be like, hey, dog.
Yeah. That's how he sounded. That's how he sounded, bro. Like,
get at me, dog. Go take a shower.
In the shower. Yeah, bro.
Damn, this water feel good.
Yeah, bro. DMX was there.
love DMX, dog.
Yeah, I love him too. I love him too, man. And the dude that allegedly killed Michael with the pills, Dr. Murray, Conrad Murray. I know him from Visit. We used to go to Visit, so they used to put us in the cages, and we'll be in the cages next to the anybody, bro, whoever. So I was there with him. I was with Lenny Dykstra. He's a baseball player. That's my boy. We linked up out here in the street. Lenny Dykstra, he used to play for the Mets and the Phillies.
What the fuck was he doing in there?
He was busted for like GTA and some other stuff.
What the fuck was he doing that for?
Lenny, I don't know, bro. He went like
Got on a coke.
long story, yeah.
Coke binge or something?
Long story, bro. Long story. He got caught up, and he ended up with us, and it was just me, my older homie, and him on the road, bro. We ended up on G-Roll. I ended up on G-Roll because I was ProPurge, and we were battling the sheriffs, bro. They came in, they tried to turn 1750 into a shoe program. They tried to turn it into a shoe, and they even took our mail, bro. We couldn't even get mail. They started saying we could only get postcards, and they pretty much started violating our rights, bro. So I was the main one pushing paperwork on them.
And so real quick, bro, when you're ProPurge, you're representing yourself, bro. Like, how are you doing this, bro? How are you getting this knowledge? I mean, you got all these jailhouse lawyers I know that are giving you probably pointers, giving you tips, do this, call this motion, woo, woo. But don't you have access to a library there or something?
Yeah, you got the law library. The best response I can give you is study, bro. Dig in. If you care about your life, my life was on the line, bro. Someone's trying to take my life. I dug in, bro. I started reading case laws. I started learning about my case. Okay, what do I need to represent myself to fight these charges? You know what I'm saying? I started digging into computers. We get law library every day. So we go in and we get on this computer and we find case law, what's called case law. I had a legal runner at the time, which is, she was my girlfriend at the time, my ex. I used to be like, okay, I'll look in the computer. Okay, look at these case laws. Okay, I need this and this and this. Okay, hey, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, I need this. She'll bring it. You can bring stuff through the visiting room when you're ProPurge, and I'll get stacks, bro. I used to have stacks of legal work, and I'll just read, bro. Read, filing motions, filing, boom, boom, boom. But the judge, as I said in CCB, that dude, I believe he was specifically chosen to just make sure I get found guilty. But something happened. I ended up getting out of that courtroom, bro. And it's very hard to get out of a courtroom. So what happened is I found one day a paper that said, the court transcript, they were taking away all my, everything I was saying on the record, it was missing from the record, bro. And I was in the hole one time. And I snatched it up. It was on the desk in court. So I went back to the court tank, boom, 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 and I'm reading, and I see my arguments are missing. This was from a prior court date. And so I filed a motion to get all my prior transcripts. And that day that I had the hearing, I had as many people as I can, my family. I filled that courtroom up, and I said, Judge, as you can see, I got a bunch of witnesses. I said, your stenographer's a witness, the DA's a witness, the clerk is a witness, everybody in this courtroom, the victim's family is a witness, because the victim's family was there every single court date. The victim's family, everybody here is a witness that my constitutional rights have been violated in this courtroom. And so I need to file this motion, and I need this motion granted. He used to deny my motions, bro. Even motions, little motions that I got coming, he used to deny them. I said, I need this motion granted, and if you deny this motion, I'm prepared to go to the media and to bring all these people on this stand and testify that you've been violating my rights in this courtroom. And he just smirked, bro, and he goes, and he granted my motion. So when he granted my motion, I got all my transcripts, and lo and behold, when I look at all my transcripts, every time I was lacing the record with case law, it was missing, bro. It would say inaudible. And I was like, what? So I filed with the higher courts, and I told him, check this out. Look what's happening in this courtroom. And I sent it to the higher courts. I had to go through a lot of stuff. It's a long story, but I'm trying to hurry up. But pretty much, I had to get a paralegal. She had to help me with some stuff. I had to put all this together, and I filed with the higher courts in downtown. And they got me out of that courtroom, bro. They didn't want that to come out because that was happening in that courtroom.
That's crazy, dude.
And I ended up with Kathleen Kennedy. Woo! God bless that lady, you know what I mean? She's the one, bro, that I ended up there. And I don't wanna fast forward, but that lady, she was OJ's preliminary hearing judge. She was right next to Lance Ito. Remember Lance Ito?
Yeah.
Lance Ito's in 110. I was in 109.
Damn.
She was his prelim. When he got bonded over, he went to Lance Ito. That was my judge. So, just real quick, bro, I had to give up my ProPurge status, and I got an attorney. His name's Alex Kessel. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a big time attorney in LA. Everybody knows his name, Alex Kessel. Shout out to Alex Kessel, man. He's a good attorney. He's a Jew. He's a good guy, man, and he's the one that I went to trial with. I went to trial in 2012, okay, April, okay. I went to trial, and it was about a 6-day trial, 4 or 5 day trial, I don't know, something like that. And they didn't have no evidence against me, okay. All they had was one dude saying that I did it. He was my co-defendant, which was one of my ex-homies. They hit him 10 years later in Calipat. They hit him the homicide, and he ended up checking in and working with them and saying that I did it, and he said this and that. But that's all they had, bro. They didn't have no other evidence linking me to the murder.
Then just another fucking criminal pointing the finger because the heat's on him.
Yes. And he was already doing life for it. He pled guilty to the murder. This dude pled guilty to the murder. Okay.
He's already doing life for it. He just wanted to
find a way out, and he did because he's out right now. But that's another story. But they used him, bro. They started using him against me, against my older homeboy, and in other cases. He started working with them with other cases, bro. One of my homeboys, Bugsy, he's doing life. He testified in his case. So anyhow, that's all they had, bro. But I still got found guilty. They found me guilty of the murder, and the murder, it was one of my older homeboys.
So hold on real quick. Let me rewind a little bit. So when you were ProPurge, Maji, how long were you? How many courtroom appearances did you do ProPurge representing yourself?
How many what?
How many courtroom appearances did you do representing yourself?
Not exaggerating, at least 100, bro. I was in there 5 years, bro.
Okay, so 100 times you're in there. So when you go in there, what are they doing? You're getting some not dress outs, but you're getting some courtroom suit or something?
For trial?
For trial. I mean,
for trial, I had a suit that my wife, which was my friend back then, she was in my. Remember I told you the story.
Yeah.
But she was a friend. I didn't have nobody else to bring me my. I could have, but I didn't really. I was the type of dude I didn't like bugging anybody for stuff.
But go ahead. I hear you, bro.
So I had her bringing my suit, and I'm going to trial every day.
So check it out, bro. So you got these people that went to fucking law school. I don't know how many years that shit is.
There you go.
Judge. How long does it take to be a motherfucking judge?
Years. They put in their work. They put in their time.
Yeah, you got these professionals. This is what they do a living at, bro. And you got in there, you got this little skinny motherfucker.
Banged out,
banged out, homie. You know what I mean?
Tattoos on the head, you know what I mean? Like
fighting, representing himself, fighting for his life. I mean, what did your family think, bro? Like, look at this motherfucker right here, dog. This dude is, I mean,
my family, bro.
That's pretty fucking. That's crazy, bro. That's like, much props to you on that shit, my G. Because it not. Come on, when we talk about the homies, I mean, not all of us are retarded, including myself in this conversation, bro. You know what I mean?
Smart homies out
there. 100%, dog. But man, bro, that's pretty amazing, dog. That you were able to fucking. I mean, did you graduate high school? What kind of schooling do you have behind you that's gonna put you in a position, dog? I mean, or is it for
bro. I'm self-taught, like a lot of us.
Yeah,
books. You know what I mean?
It's just it's a survival tactic, bro. You learn how to survive on the streets from trial and error.
I applied the same thing you said.
Yeah.
Into my case.
To your case.
Yeah. And I gave it my all, bro. It's my life. It's it.
Schools, something degrees, something colleges cannot fucking teach you.
It's all just life, bro. It's life, man.
I always, check it out, bro. Any holding tank that I was in CCB, you always got the ProPurge motherfuckers in there.
And you're always asking them questions, though.
Yeah. And these dudes, carry themselves a lot different than motherfuckers like myself that is like trying to plead with a public defender, public pretender, whatever you want to call it. There's some. I've had a couple good public
there's a few
defenders.
good ones. Yeah, good dudes.
I'm not gonna shit on all of them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, they were they're under the same umbrella as the DA and everything else. You know. But I always tripped on the ProPurge dudes because they always carried themselves differently. They always had you remember the briefcase
that you buy at the store?
Did you buy the paper briefcase packed with papers, bro? You know what I mean? And for some reason, they always had the reading glasses. I think half of them, they weren't even reading glasses. It was just to make them look smarter, homie. Yeah. While they were up there.
I need these dogs. I'm blind without them.
You know, I don't know how many homies always try to get the reading glasses, dog.
Try to look cool. Yeah, you're right.
Just to look smarter,
homie.
They
used to do that in the county, yeah. Everywhere, even out here, bro. But yeah, you're right. In the county, they used to do that. A lot of homies.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm just amazed, bro. You know what I mean? That you were able to go in there and do that and get yourself to those levels, you know, apply those emotions, whatever the fucking terminology is, bro, and get yourself into another courtroom. So you said you got into the courtroom. Mm-hmm. You're with a new judge. Mm-hmm. And how does it go down?
So I only had a couple months before trial, and I had another case. I picked up another case in the county while I was fighting my murder for a possession. Long story, man. I pretty much ended up, in there. There was only one. I was the only one that was qualified to get this something that was there, man, coming in, and it just hit me with it, bro, and I had it in my pocket. I hadn't even. You know what I mean? Did the dirty deed, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they came in, bro. They came in on the bus. Someone told, and I got caught up for another case in there. So I was ProPurge on that case. So when I was fighting my murder, and I had an attorney, I was still ProPurge on my in-house case.
Yeah.
So the judge, she told the DA, she's like, "What you doing, man? This dude's fighting a murder. Why you still have this case on him? Let this case go." And so the DA, he didn't want to let that case go because he knew there was a chance I'm gonna get out. But he had to listen to the judge. He didn't want to get on the judge's bad side. Boom, dismissed my in-house case, which later on turned out to be because once I got out, that case would have held me back, bro. I would have ended up doing like 15 years on that. And so I was still ProPurge, but anyhow, I'm going to court, preparing for trial. Everything that I worked for, everything that I worked on, I handed it to my attorney, and I said, "Here you go." He tripped out, bro. When I gave him all my stuff, he was like, "I've never, ever had anybody do this, what you done." And he had everything he needed, bro. All he had to do was just go through all my stuff. And he was ready for trial, bro. Like
you had him set up already.
I had him set up.
You were hired when you got out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You're hired.
Yeah, he used to tell me, he was like, "Man, you would, he used to tell me I would make a good paralegal or even a PI, because I did everything that a PI is supposed to do. I had my own PI, but I had everything a PI, which is a private investigator. I had all that. I had all the stuff a paralegal is supposed to do. I had it all done. That's what I done. Handed it to him. We went to trial. He did good, bro. He great, man. That dude grilled the only witness they had on me. And then they had another girl, but everything that the main witness said, she said the exact opposite. Cause that dude, he admitted to that one girl. It was one of my homeboys. It was 3 of us, bro. Let me just backtrack. It was me and 2 other homies and my older homeboy. So it was 4 of us that were fighting the case at the time. And so they separated me from my older homeboy and my other they separated me and I was alone. They went to trial. One of them lost and one of them got a hung jury, a 9-3 hung jury. Then it was my turn.
What is a hung jury for cats that don't know?
Hung jury is when you have a 12 jury panel, or you got some alternates too, but you have a panel of 12 people. Those people have their life in your hands. If they say guilty, if they all unanimously say guilty, you're guilty. If they all unanimously say you're not guilty, you're not guilty. So he got a 9 not guilty, my older homeboy. And my older homeboy, he was on the news. They were trying to get him, bro. They were trying to, like I said, I'm not going to mention all those crazy words they try to use, but it was like an organized thing. They were trying to say this and that. So So anyhow, you can look at my case later on if for you guys that want to know more about it. It's People versus Pedroza, I think. It's a 2015 case. But anyhow, they went to trial, and then it was my turn. I went to trial. My attorney did good. You know, he did the best he could, but they still found me guilty.
Okay, they still found you guilty. So let's pause right there. Right now, I want to rewind it a little bit. Bro, 5 years in the county jail. Okay. So my experience with the county jail, bro, is we trying to get out of that bitch as quick as possible.
Quick as possible.
As quick as possible. We talked about that, dog. We trying to get out as quick as possible. Now, you're in 1750, bro. You're in single cell status, bro. You know, what is your mental state, my G? I mean, I know you're already seasoned going into this. You're not new to doing time. You've been to the hole, you're kicking off rides, this, that, about that life, you know. But 5 years locked in a fucking cage, homie. 5 years locked in a cage, bro. I know you were busy. You know?
I was busy. And it wasn't just my case. I was still Sticks from LOMAS. I was still fully involved, bro, in the whole and everything in the county going on, man. Riots before the 1750, whatever, bro. I was still me. So you got all these different elements, bro. I'm in a relationship. I broke up with my ex. I end up with which is my wife now. You know, that's a whole thing. Being in a relationship when you're busted.
Trying to maintain
that.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Boom. Who you are, your identity. Lucky, Sticks, whoever you are. Boom, in the county.
How do you maintain a relationship? Don't mean to step on your conversation right now, dog.
Don't trip it.
How do you maintain a relationship? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of cats, I see cats sometimes, dog, hating on homies that are doing time. They're like this dumbass fucking hyena waiting for this dude that's gonna fucking just using her. I mean, I've seen some posts, bro, and I'm just like, fool, you hating, bro. Let that motherfucker live, dog.
Man.
You don't even know what that's like, you know what I mean? But how do you maintain a relationship while you're locked in a cage, brother? Like, what
it's a struggle, man. You gotta work at it, and it all depends on the person, bro. It all depends on who's on the other end of that line, or who's on the. You know what I'm saying? Every woman gets lonely. Every man gets lonely. You know, there's different things that come into play, but you got to do a lot of different things to sustain that relationship, and it's not easy, man. You know, having a relationship when you're in jail, you really don't got too much to offer. There's money, you know, there's money you can make in there, and they can, you know, but aside from that, it's tough, man. My wife, she had to believe in my freedom, because I believed in my freedom. I never not one time said, I'm going to be up there doing live. I was never that dude like, oh, I'm already planning on, you know what I mean? I chalked it up. A lot of homies, they're fighting their murders. Oh, they're already planning on what they're going to do, this and that. Nah. Me, I did not one time. I didn't see that as my, I believed my purpose was not in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believed in my freedom, bro. And I believed that I was going to get out of there.
Gotcha.
And so that came into play in the way I carried myself, the way I transmitted everything, bro. My energy, my whole spirit, everything was like on a positive tip as far as my release and my case. And so my wife, which was my girl then, I had to instill that in her, and she had to like believe in that. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it was tough, bro. She'll tell you herself, man. We had fights. We had all that, man. Just, you know, walking up from visit, leaving, not calling, you know what I mean? Not calling on the phone and just, the hell with this and that. But she was there, bro. She was there. She was there through my guilty verdict. She was there in the process of me filing motions when I got. I know you said you wanted to pause, but that's pretty much how it was. She was there through it all because my relationship wasn't established until after I got found guilty.
Yeah.
She didn't come on my team, as we say. She wasn't on the team until after I got found guilty.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So
at first she was just kind of like
She was a friend, bro. She was a friend.
She was working with you. She was helping you out.
Yeah, she was helping me out.
Yeah, she was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna help this dude out, and if he gets out, I'm gonna snatch his ass up.
Yeah. She was investing, bro. She was investing.
Investing. Sometimes you gotta invest. You know what I mean? You know what? I had a thing about me when I go and do time. I mean, I didn't do it like this every time. I wasn't a pimp every time about this shit. I went out like a sucker a couple times on some feeling shit, and you know, I don't know, maybe I was on a come down. You know what I mean? I had to sober up real quick to get my bearings. You know what I mean? Yeah. But most of the time, bro, I tell Hyenas, bro, I tell bros, I'll be like, you know what? Check it out. I'm in here right now. Let's go ahead and just call this shit off.
Yeah,
you know
I've done that. Yeah.
Let's you know what I mean. When I get out, you know what I mean. We'll see what up with
holler.
it. And yeah, I'm gonna holler at you. You know what I mean. And a lot of times I realized when I would do that, it would be like a reverse type of psychology thing. Not that I was trying to do that. I was just trying to be a G. I was trying to be a pimp. I was like, girl, it's all good.
No,
you know
I love you. I love you.
Yeah, you ain't gotta lie to me about shit. Do your thing and shit. You want to ride with me, right? We can do that shit. You know what I mean. But a lot of times it make females be like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, they wanted to be. Yeah,
I'm gonna be there for you. Watch.
That's what happened to me, bro. Back in the day, I actually didn't mention this, but in 1997, I ended up getting married. And I did that. I was with one of my exes and I let her go. I did exactly what you said. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some time. I was going to do like 9 years. I ended up getting 2 years. I told her, that's it. Do your thing. I'll do mine, you know. No. She was there. So we ended up getting married. You know what I mean? And we got married and as soon as I hit upstate, boom, all that was, you know what I mean? She started doing her thing. Yeah. She started doing her thing, and we broke up and all that. But I already knew that, bro. That's why I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I did? I got married one time in LA County Jail. I mean, I got married in a CCB while I was fighting the case. And, I got the conjugal visits when I went upstate, when I wasn't fucking up. And, man, they were just, you would think that we're going out there, bro. I mean, mind you, I have a date, bro. I'm not a lifer, you know what I mean? Back then, lifers didn't get conjugal visits like they do now, you know, but I would go out there, bro, and the bra would be so much on my nerves, bro, that I was happy to be out there in conjugal visits, dog, but at the same time, I was like, man, fuck this bitch, homie. You know what I mean? Because she would give me hell. She'd be like, man, I'm out here, whoop-de-whoop-whoop, and you're in there just hanging out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just hanging out with your homies and shit.
They don't like that, yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you talking about? I mean, I don't want to sound like a total asshole about this shit because, salute to her for just being there, going up to the family visit. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like a fucking ignorant fuck because she was doing a lot, you know what I mean? But I think the dynamics in the relationship we had was just like, it really put a dent on when I went out there, dog, you know what I mean? Because I felt how I felt in my heart, dog, you know what I mean? I was just like, man, this bitch is giving me motherfucking hell in here. Is it really worth this fucking little conjugal visit to get the pussy and whoop and have some microwave dinners with this fucking broad, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's another story, bro, but you're in this cage for 5 years, bro. You know what I mean? Like, damn, that's a lot of fucking money, dog, to be spending it on store. Like, people don't understand. Like, a soup in there, dog, cost $1. Out here, that shit costs 19 cents or some shit like that, dog. They're charging $1 in there right there. And you go store once a week, dog, you know what I mean? Unless there's some funky shit going on, lockdown or some crazy shit, dog.
I spent thousands, bro. Probably like over 20,000 probably.
Hey, check it out real quick. I wanted to, I believe it, bro. You know what I mean? 2003, I was in the county jail too, bro. You know what I mean? So we might have bumped into each other back then, bro. You know what I mean? I was in there for a high-speed pursuit in a gun.
I remember, I was telling you, I remember your name.
Yeah.
I remember your name. I remember, I think I met you before, bro. When I first seen your podcast, when it first started, right away I was like, I know that guy. You know how you never forget a face type of thing?
Yeah.
I remember for sure your name.
You know what's funny, dog, is motherfuckers will hear me talking on the fucking theta and shit, dog. And I guess I have like a distinctive
unique voice.
Yeah, distinctive voice, unique voice, bro. And motherfuckers are like, look.
Yeah.
What up, fool? You know what I mean? And I'll be like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's an extended family. If you're going in and out of the system, dog, I mean, you're not the only one, bro. You know what I mean? You got the boys from the other side of the town, dog. You know what I mean? Lomas, Harbor area, you know what I mean? IE, Orange County, you know what I mean? All over, dog. And you guys just like, damn, what are you in for now, dog? You know? It's just a trip, and it's crazy because when you're going in and out, bro, when you see these people, you're so happy to see them. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't be so happy to see each other, but it's like you're almost coming. That's for you right there, dog. Right. It's almost like you're coming back to an extended home.
Yeah, you're like a family. You become a family in there, man, because you're you know, especially when you go at it, you're at war in there, you know what I mean? You get closer. You've been in riots together. You've been, you know what I'm saying, spreading together. You've been telling each other stories, you know what I mean, your life story, you know what I mean? And you just get close, man. You get close. You develop that bond.
So you were in the county jail in 1995.
95, yeah.
Okay, so do you remember in 1995 when the whole entire wayside in the county jail popped off?
Yeah, in 95? Was that 95?
That was I believe that was the end. That was the first month of 96.
I remember that, yeah.
Okay, that was
the whole county, yeah.
Damn, bro, you're good with fucking dates because you're talking about on this date. I don't remember none of that. I'm like around whoop, you know what I mean? Like
I got my whole life kind of through dates. I remember a lot through my birthday and through like certain significant dates. Like I can pinpoint where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
That's a trip, bro. I mean, it's a trip how everybody's mind works differently, bro.
Yeah.
You work with dates. I work with stories, traumatic experiences, dog, that really impacted my life that I will never forget, bro. Mm-hmm. But I'll forget a lot. I'll forget I'll forget a lot of shit too, bro. Like sometimes people's names, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I'm horrible with sometimes.
Same here, yeah. Now, especially now, yeah.
You know, yeah, fool. So I mean, you said you spent about 20 racks, 5 years on fucking
somewhere around. I'm estimating, I don't know something, but I spent a lot of money, man. 5 years. That's the county jails. Sometimes I would even put money on dudes' books. You know what I mean? Hey, go to the store for me so you could be fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take care of a lot of homies and different stuff. You know?
Yeah. What was that homie's name from? There was a homie from 18, dog. He was balling on the streets and shit, dog. You know. Fuck, I want to think of his name right now. Good ass fucking homie and shit, dog. But he would get store, dog, on all like 5 different homies' fucking names, dog.
Little boy.
And he would like, that was us, bro.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, because he was. I'm gonna think of his name right now, dog. But anyways, I'd be like, you know, it was just, anyways, dog. That's bro. I mean, I was never able to do that, bro, because I was always coming off the streets off a fucking sick one, homie. You know what I mean? You know, and I mean, I would get a little love and shit, bro, but I mean, I would survive, dog. I would survive, but yeah. I mean, when you're out there fucking up, dog, you know, you're out there fucking up, dog, you know. But anyways, moving forward in your story, brother.
So, yeah, man, I got found guilty. I got found guilty of murder. And my next step is, as soon as I got found guilty, like I said, I always believed in my freedom. And I believed I was going to get a new trial, bro. And so we filed for a new trial. As soon as I got found guilty, my attorney said, hey, judge, putting you on notice, we plan to file a new trial, a new motion for a new trial because my client got convicted with insufficient evidence and under penal code whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop.
Hold on real quick. Buzzard. Johnny, how the fuck you know that shit, bro? Shout out to the homie Johnny right there. Buzzard, that's the homie from 18.
Buzzard,
that's
crazy,
homie. Hey.
He knew.
That's the homie right there, dog. That's crazy.
What a trip, huh?
Buzzard from 18, dog. Getting fucking money on everybody's books, dog. What a motherfucking trip, dog.
Yup. Yeah, so
small world, right?
Yeah, it's true.
We got like shout out to all 200 people tapping in right now, you know what I mean?
200, wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like I'm just saying, you know, extended family is tapped in right now, bro.
Yep.
You know? That's crazy.
We're all
as
connected.
Fuck.
It's a trip, bro. There's people.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie Turtle right there, dog. Turtle from Duarte.
Shout out to Turtle.
Yeah.
Duarte, yo. East side.
Yeah. he's with my very dear longtime friend of mine, Monica, dog.
We got What a trip. We got connections with Duarte. Back in the day, we used to play football with them. Because my homeboy Devil, his sister was with, I believe, I forgot his name, from Duarte. And we used to play football with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always beat them, but...
Oh, Turtle, is it true?
You gotta admit it. We always... And some, they used to be deep, bro. They used to be like 50 deep. Sometimes we only be like 10 deep. But we got a lot of athletes in the hood. You know what I mean? We got athletes And you know, but we used to barbecue after. Got a lot of love for those guys, man. Duarte, shout out to man, so many dudes from there. Tiny, Largo, all them guys, man.
Yeah, shout out to the Goonies too. I call my G's right here, dog, the chat line, dog, because they tap in. It's like fucking the same group of dudes, dog. Gas Monkey, dog. Shout out to fucking Adam Rodriguez, dog. It's all the same homies,
Same guy,
dog.
yeah.
Yeah, homies from Hazard and shit, dog. It's all the same homies, dog, that tap in and fuck with me tough, dog. And so I'm like, I went to a drive-in the other day and we watched an old school movie with my kids, dog, and we watched to see the Goonies, dog, and I said, damn, that's my motherfucking chat line, because they nothing but goons, homie. We have cats on here sometimes, and these motherfuckers are relentless, dog.
In 1750, we used to have the Goon Squad. That was our little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Goon Squad. So I know what you're talking about.
And what would that consist of for people that don't know when you're saying the Goon Squad in
The
1750?
Goon Squad, man, that was someone that was ready for whatever, you know what I mean?
The wrecking crew, right?
Yeah, even in 1750, we over here doing, you know what I mean? Always up to no good. People still gotta get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was in 3400 Able Road, dog.
Gang module.
Gang
yeah.
module. I was in 3400 Able Road gang module, and I think it was like 98. I was in there, bro.
Vicious.
Yeah, my boy, six. That's when it was 6-man cells still, dog. And I mean,
Yeah.
I heard it's like single man cells or something like that, dog. But back then, dog, they were fucking folding dudes up and putting them under the bunk dead, homie.
Back then was
they
vicious.
were. Oh my god.
If you gotta get hit, the whole cell gotta hit you.
Homie, yeah, I went in there on a parole violation, my G. I got snatched up on 3800, I believe it was like Denver Row or something like that, because I had the theater right there, whatever, dog. You know what I mean? Whatever, bro. You know what I mean? Nothing big, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Any motherfucker with somewhat of a level head can get the theater to, you know, make sure things are, you know, afloat. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, I wasn't going for that shit, but it landed it happened, bro. You know what I mean? But I'm on a parole violation, and me and the homie Chucky from Lawndale, which was crazy because when you talk about you were 16 when you went in the county jail the first time, bro, he was 16 years old, dog, fighting a life sentence, dog. You know what I mean? Chucky from Lawndale, dog. Shout out to that dude. I hope he's doing well, dog. You know what I mean? That was, I believe that he got stretched out off the case that he was on. But anyways, when I went to the gang module, homie, everybody was fighting murders and death penalties, bro. You know what I mean? Every when I got into my cell, they called my cell the Shark Tank, dog, because the Shark Tank, dog, they called it the Shark Tank because if anytime anybody had to get hit in there, the homies in my cell begged whoever had the theater to send them into that cell. They wanted that ass. They wanted every piece of that, bro. You know what I mean? Vicious, homie. You know what I mean? So I'm in here with these dudes that have nothing to live for, bro. The life is withering away every time they go to court, my G. You know what I mean? And here I am on a parole violation, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good time. It was a challenging time because I had to face a couple obstacles, dog. That, you know what I mean? I kept my head up, dog, and I handled my business, bro. You know what I mean? It was a time when things were against us and whatnot. I'm not going to get into details,
I
dog.
I remember.
You know, but anyways, dog, you know, I made it through with, you know, with my head high, bro, you know, and it was just, it was the first time ever, bro, in my life, in my gangbang career, whatever the fuck you want to call it, bro, that I really got my nuts checked, dog. I got my nuts checked, homie, like no other motherfucking time, bro. Like, you about this, or fucking you gonna fucking take every fucking inch of this fucking fierro or whatever you want to call it, bro. I mean, metaphorically speaking, you know what I mean?
That's all it is, man. If you make it, you know, there's the saying, if you make it through the county, you can make it through anywhere. But if you made it through the county in those days, and especially like gang module, you know, shout out to you, man, because that's where it was at, man.
I have stories about that, bro. You know what I mean? But I really don't like to get into those stories, bro, because I think I might be.
Sorry,
no, you're good, bro. I think I might be overstepping my boundaries, dog. And there's boundaries, you know what I mean? And I don't ever want to
exactly.
I don't ever want to ever overstep my boundaries on stories that I tell, you know. But on that, just moving forward, dog. You know what I mean? The dudes in 1750. If you're in the gang module, you were like. There was the big dogs. Where were the big dogs at? The big dogs are in 1750, homie. 1750, bro. It's motherfucking the White House, the Brown House, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The motherfucking headquarters, homie. 1750, dog. You know what I mean? Is where everything, you know, was trickling down from in the day, you know. And you were in that. You were on that theater, homie.
Yep.
You know, studying, fighting a case. interacting with these other high-profile cases, bro.
Yeah.
It's a different element. It's a different, you know what I mean? You are on top of the food chain in regards to criminals, dog. You are with the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
You are with the fucking
Yeah.
the best of the best.
And that was it, bro. And I was, like I said, I was deep. I was head. I think when I spoke to you on the phone, I told you I was head first in that, bro. And not by choice, kind of, like you said, but it was something that just happened. You know what I mean? Like by default, like it's you there, bro. Like you there, and you know what I mean? You. It's just it just happens, bro. But yeah, man, I was deeply into that, man, and you know I made it out, man, on the other side, man. I made it out on the other side of this, and here I am, man. You know, here I am.
And so let's get back to the time when you know what I mean, you're in the courtroom, and so you got convicted on the murder.
Got convicted. Yeah.
You got convicted on the murder, okay? And so what is your thought process when you are leaving that courthouse and you're getting transferred back to your room, your cell, you know what I mean, where you're housed at, you know? What is your thought process, bro? What's going on in your head, brother?
Of course, I was, you know, part of me was like, ugh, you know, getting found guilty for murder, man, that's your life, that's it, it's a wrap. But like I said, I never had that kind of mentality, and I was even actually kind of joyful, bro. I was actually kind of joyful because I knew I was gonna get out. I just didn't know how or when. And so I try to keep that optimistic attitude, bro, that positive attitude. And, you know, I there was a piece about me where I was still cool. But yeah, deep inside, you know, you just heard them words, bro, guilty, like, ooh, like. But I believe that what my attorney told me, that there's a good chance we're going to get this reversed based on the insufficient evidence, based on the law. If the judge follows the, I guess they call it the letter of the law, if she goes by that, we got a very, very good shot at getting a new trial. And I believe once this new trial came in, we're gonna be able to learn from the past one, and that I'm gonna eventually, hopefully, get out. You know?
So it's crazy about it, bro. It's crazy because, in a sense, and I'm gonna use this as an example. So last time I was in the system, dog, my sister was fighting cancer, and she died when I was in the system.
Man.
Now the build up to the death was treacherous. It was the worst time of my life. I got down with the dude. We bumped heads. I got down with this one dude. He got the best of me on a heads up, bro. I was weak at the time, bro. I was weak, dog. It was a one-on-one with a homie, dog. You know what I mean? You know, you're not supposed to be doing that, but I'm in ADC, dog. You know what I mean? I remember fighting this dude, dog, and I was so emotionally drained, bro. I didn't have nothing in my punch, bro. I didn't have nothing. You would think sometimes you would be angry and you would just like, you know what I mean? You know, but I was the opposite, bro, you know what I mean? But it really broke me down as an individual of losing my sister, my sibling that was a year younger than me, that we were so fucking close, bro, from cancer, bro. And the counselors out there were so they were so compassionate, and they would give me phone calls, free phone calls, to talk to her while she was on her deathbed in the fucking hospital. And then when I talked to my sister, she would cry to me and she would tell me that she was scared that she was gonna die, dog. And it really fucking it fucked up my spirit, bro. It broke me down in every single fucking possible way you can think of, dog. But when she died, there was a release of it being over with, on to the next chapter. It hurt, but there was a release. I remember I just had something that was just lifted off, like, not that like a relief, it was a release that this chapter was over with, and there was nothing to do about it no more except moving on to the next chapter. So I have a feeling that when you got sentenced for that murder, you had convicted of that murder, you had a release of saying, you know what?
Yeah.
This is over with. I'm gonna still be optimistic. My lawyer's saying we have action, and it's time to move on to the next
level. That's exactly how it went down.
That's how you felt.
Yeah, started at, and there was a relief. there was a relief. You know what I mean? That trial, going to trial, whew, you already know, bro. It's going to court back and forth, and the emotional, you know, drainage and the mental, you know, gymnastics you go through, and just so much stuff, bro. So yeah, there was a sense of just, it's you know, let's move on, let's go with this now. You know what I mean? Let's roll with this, and that's what we did, bro.
So what transpired after that?
So
bro?
what transpired is I go back to 1750. You know, I'm still living my life, man. I get convicted, but we have all our marbles on this retrial motion. My attorney says, you know, he's preparing it, and in the process, I'm telling him, let's stretch it. Let's try to stretch it as much as we can, because I want to stay in the county as long as I can. I don't want to get sentenced and get sent upstate. I wanna stay here in the county, and so he pushed it as much as he could to get it bounded over before we had the motion heard, and thankfully that led up into the holiday months, and so the holiday months, there's a lot of, okay, we're not gonna continue until next year type of thing. A lot of trials, a lot of that important stuff, they get pushed over into the next year because of the holidays, right? And so that was my case. And so thankfully, we got it stretched over till, I believe it was January of 2013. And so in January of 2000, that was like I went to trial in April of 2012. That's how long, what is that about? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, about 9 months. We get bounded. You know, we go to hear the motion, and on January, I believe it was 15, something like that. The judge, she says she hears the motion. She took some time reading it, going through it when we filed it, and my judge, she said in 26 years on the bench, no, 24 years on the bench, she said, I have never granted a retrial motion. 24 years on the bench. She said, but in this case, I have to do it.
And so what was the main factor in her making that decision, brother?
The main factor was the law. The law states that a conviction cannot be had under Penal Code 1111 under an accomplice's testimony unless there be independent evidence tying you to that evidence, to whatever evidence there is. Nothing else can, there has to be independent evidence outside of one dude who supposedly did the crime with you saying you did it. There has to be something else other than that. Under Penal Code 1111, you could look it up. Real short, it says, you can look it up on Google. Penal Code 1111, it says a conviction cannot be had unless the corroboration be, unless it be corroborated by independent evidence. That's the language it says. That's pretty much it. That's what it says. And so based on that, the judge, if she's going to be a fair judge and go by the law, what the law says, not what she wants, not what's going on in her mind, not what the jury thinks, not with none of that. If she's going to go off the law says that I cannot be convicted off of that. And so that jury convicted me without bringing that into question, bro. They didn't question, they didn't bring Penal Code 11. It's almost as if they ignored that and they still found me guilty because of this. Because of the tattoos on the head, because of LOMAS on my stomach, because of Hill's kills on my arms, because of whatever, my appearance, because of my demeanor, because of whatever influenced them, bro. It was probably a joint thing where everything came into play, but they didn't take the law into consideration, and my judge did, man. So the judge, she said, I've never did this, I have to do it now. And she overturned my conviction. It was as if I never got convicted, and I was fresh for a new trial. And so from there, that was like, woof, breath of fresh air, bro. Breath of fresh air. They granted it. So from that time to March my lawyer, he finds a case law. It's a federal case law. I don't know if you're aware of this or the viewers, but federal case law overrides any state case law. Anything from the federal level overrides anything at the state level. And so we found the case law, Hudson versus Louisiana, a 1981 federal case law. Some black guy in Louisiana had almost the similar circumstances I did. And he was not able to get retried because it would have been double jeopardy. And so his conviction was overturned because of insufficient evidence. And so my lawyer found that case law, and he put that on a motion to dismiss, and he submitted it to the judge. And he said, Judge, you cannot take this man to trial because it would be double jeopardy based on the higher case laws that govern these things in this case.
And define double jeopardy for people that don't understand the terminology.
Double jeopardy is you cannot be how do you say, in other words, if you go to trial, okay, and you get found not guilty, okay, like OJ Simpson could never be charged with the murder of Nicole Kidman or that dude, what's his name, Ronald Goldman, ever again under American United States law. He could never, and if he would be charged with that crime, criminal, because he got the civil thing, but the criminal, they could never charge him with that, because if they did, that would be double jeopardy, because they already found him not guilty. So I already went to trial. They found me not guilty, but they didn't have evidence to find me guilty. They only had their own emotions and whatever the hell they talked about in that room, but by the law, according to the law, they didn't follow the law. So that's what double jeopardy is. If I get tried again with the same evidence, that would be putting me under double jeopardy. And boom, March 15th, bro, I go for my hearing to get dismissed. March 15th, I go. This is the big day. I'm so sure that I'm gonna get out, bro. I'm in 1750. I'm walking out that morning, the day that I almost stayed up the whole night with the homies. The homies were sure of it too, bro. They believed in my freedom, and they were like, "This is it, fool. Like, that's it, man." And I said my goodbyes to everybody. When I walked out of court that morning, even to the blacks, I had a couple blacks. I forget his name, man. From Rolling 60, that was my boy, man. Shout out to him. I forgot his name, but that was my boy, man. Real good dude. Everybody on the tier, bro. Devereaux, 1750. I walked right out, bro. And that was my last day there, bro. Because when I went to that hearing, I had my motion heard. The DA got up. He said his little spiel. He didn't really say nothing. My attorney got up, said his. Judge said, you know what? I believe this gentleman may have been involved in this case, but I have to follow the law. Hudson versus Louisiana is right on with the circumstance here. This conviction was overturned because I don't believe there was enough evidence to hold this man accountable for this crime. And now, under this case law, I cannot hold him accountable, and I have to dismiss this case. And that was it.
Life, freedom, shit that we take granted. Freedom, bro. What is life to you, bro? What is freedom to you, bro?
Life is everything to me, man. Especially now that I'm a father. I'm a father, man. One-time father. My son's 3 years old.
Congratulations.
Shout out to my son. Thank you, bro. 3 years old, man. And, life ain't perfect. But I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed to be out here, man.
You're truly blessed, brother. You're truly blessed. And so, when you went to that last court hearing, the judge said, what did the word say? According to the Louisiana,
Hudson versus Louisiana.
Yeah. I have no choice but to follow the law. This man is innocent. Case closed.
Case dismissed. This case is dismissed.
This case is dismissed. Did they release you? You had to go.
I went back to the tank.
You went back to the tank. I get that.
But I got out of court. I walked right out of CCB court in that jumpsuit, that paper jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that right there, huh?
What happened, man?
Is the judicial system fucked up?
I'm gonna say this, bro, because I was one of those. The judicial system, in general, is messed up, bro. Because there's a lot of people that have been railroaded. They haven't got a fair trial. They haven't, and on and on and on and on. There's innocent people in jail, bro, on death row right now. Okay? And because they didn't have money, or because their color of their skin, or because of whatever the circumstance is, the system pretty much screwed them. But at the same time, we're blessed to have these laws that we have in this land that we call America. Because those same laws, bro, and if the judges and the people involved, there's a lot of good people out there. Judges, DAs, attorneys included, man. You know, there's some good ones out there. Like my judge, shout out to her, man. Kathleen Kennedy, God bless her soul, man. She followed the law. And the law said that based on the evidence they had on me, I could not be held accountable for this murder, bro. And she you know, she went against what I'm sure they heard about my release, bro, in that court. And other judges heard about this, and other people heard about it. It was a high profile case. And so she went against all that based on what, you know, she didn't go based on what people are going to think of her, what people are going to say, oh, you released this gang member, this killer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She did what was right. And to answer your question, I'm thankful for this judicial system, because that ultimately set me free, bro. That case law, Hudson, whoever that dude is, I want to find him. I want to find the dude. I don't even know if he's still alive, but I'd like to find him, bro. Hudson versus Louisiana. It's a 1981 case law. You guys could Google it. Read that case law. It was almost identical. And then go read my case law. There's a case law under my name. I mentioned it earlier. Pedroza People versus Pedroza 2015 case. There's a couple Pedrozas out there, but find the one that has to do with Raul Pedroza. My name's Isaac, but my first name's Raul. Reminds me of the little joke he threw on the text, man. I was like, oh, my boy testing me, or is it just you know what I mean? I was like, man, I didn't want to respond, bro, but anyhow, it's an inside thing. He threw a little something in there, but anyhow, my first name is Raul, middle name Isaac, last name Pedroza. Look up that case, and you guys will see all the circumstances in there. But I'd like to find that guy, bro. You know, you know, he because of him, if that never happened, I probably would not be here, bro. If that guy did not go through that experience in 1981 in Louisiana, I probably would not be right here, bro.
I mean, how do they make these laws on cases? Is it mistakes?
It's a mistake. There's always a mistake. Something that shouldn't have happened, they reverse it, or the higher courts reverse it. Something has to take place where something went wrong in that case that it has to be reversed. And so the way it happened with me, when I got out, when I walked out that courtroom, my DA, he filed right away, bro. He filed with the higher courts. He filed to overturn what the judge releasing me, what the judge did in my case.
Yeah, with the judge going by the fucking law.
He tried to send me back to jail, pretty much. And, you know, of course, the family, bro, like I mentioned earlier, my case, it was one of my older homeboys, you know? And the family, his brother was a cop in Whittier, I believe. You know, and his mom, man, God bless her, bro. Like, she was there every court day, bro. It was tough.
I mean, what would you say to the family that are watching this right now, if they are watching this, or if one day they do watch this? I mean, would you have anything to say to them? You can't.
They asked me this before, bro, and I would. All I could say is that, you know, she lost her son, bro. There's nothing you could really say to change that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to give her a hug. I seen her day in and day out, bro. Day in, court day. 5 years, bro. Every court date, she was there.
She was there.
Every court date, okay? I wanted to write it. I mentioned this before. I wanted to write a letter to her. I thought about it. But then I was like, I thought better. Why, I used a little wisdom, and I was like, I can't do it.
Why is that kind of like?
Because it would have incriminated.
Is that like persuading,
It could've-
tampering evidence, or intimidation
It
factor?
could have. It could have opened the door. It could have opened the door. It could have, we never know, bro. But, yeah, I mean, there's not really much you could say. But what I could say is this. Because of the loss of her son, I ended up going through this experience. During this experience, a lot of people's lives were affected through this. A lot of stuff, and we'll get to some of that in the end. But even now, if I wouldn't be out here, the way life has transpired for me, there's been some good that has come out of that circumstance. And like I said, we can't say nothing to rectify that or to fix that or to make them feel good, like, okay. But at least I'm not some dude that came out here and I started, going back into that life, knocking, trying to knock fools down, and I'm not living that life. I'm actually on a whole nother trip, and there's a lot of good that has come out of it.
And what is that trip we're talking about? You're talking about, my G.
That trip is that, I found God, bro. God found me. I found my faith, and not to put anybody off, any of the viewers, I never try to force my faith on nobody, none of that. But I come on these platforms to share my testimony, share my story, and God got a hold of me, man. He let me know. I used to question a lot of stuff.
I mean, how did God get a hold of you? Did God get a hold of you while you were fighting this case? Like, I mean, you're in the midst of the upper echelon of what the game is inside there, bro. You know what I mean? You're amongst the elite forces in all areas, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's how it happened. It happened right there.
But that's not. I mean, that's a sign of weakness in there, isn't it?
Kind of. It depends. It has, and that's why I never said, I'm a Christian or I'm this or I'm that. I never, not one time, said that. What I did do is, I didn't mention that earlier. I want to save it for right now. Is throughout that whole time, I had my faith. Remember I said that I believed in my freedom? When I got arrested, bro, I believe I had a supernatural encounter with God in the holding station in Temple City. At the Temple City Sheriff Station, I had a divine encounter with God, okay?
What was it?
I was going to commit suicide. I was going to hang myself, bro. I didn't think I could. My mom was sick. I had promised her a bunch of stuff, and I didn't see myself fighting a murder. I was like, I'm not going to tell. Like, I'm not going to, and I just wanted to end it. And I was going to commit suicide. And they cracked my door open for a phone call. Right when I was planning it out, they cracked my door. And I went to go make a phone call. And I called my mom. And I talked to my mom. And usually before, when I used to talk to my mom, when I tell her, hey mom, I'm busted, she'd, like it'd be a whole crazy thing. But this time there was a peace about her. She goes, mijo. My mom passed away in January of this year.
Condolences,
but back then, I just wanted to be there for I heard her so much in my childhood, bro. I put my mom through so much pain and suffering that I felt like I wanted to do something good, bro. I wanted my mom to see me succeed in life, and I wanted her to know that there was more about me than just the gang, and that I was sorry for choosing my neighborhood over her, because that's what I did, over my family, over everything. And so on this phone call, bro, she tells me, mijo, she speaks Spanish, mijo, Dios te va a sacar. God's gonna let you out. He's gonna let you out. And when she said that, this peace, I really felt God's presence, bro. And I can't explain it with words. You can't explain stuff like this with words, okay? There might be a lot of people out there, they question God, and I respect you. I've been there. There's nothing wrong with that. I hear you. But me, you can't tell me that God doesn't exist, because that's just one story. As soon as she said that, all thoughts of suicide were gone. And I got this, and I don't know if I heard a voice, but it was like a knowingness. It was a knowingness that God told me, I'm going to get you out of this, son. And I stood on that. on my whole journey, bro. But like you said, I was in the mix, and I was always open about my faith. I'm the guy that homies used to write to, hey homie, can you pray for me and my girl or my wife or this and that, stuff like that. I used to send them books that I was reading. I used to try to, help homies in there, bro. And I was in 1750. I'm right there in the midst of killers, bro. And so that was me. And so my story is unique, but you're right. I never said that, because it is looked at as weak, but I'm here to tell you, it actually takes strength, man. It takes strength to do that, man. It takes courage to be able to say, you know what, I'm still me, man. But I believe in him. I believe he created me, and I believe there's a purpose for my life, and I believe he's right here. He's the one that gives me breath. He's the one that feeds me. He's the one that does it all. And throughout my whole case, he used to give me strength, bro. I used to pray, bro. Lord, help me. Just help me get through this, man. Help me get in there and help me represent myself. Help me do this. And he used to. And when I got out of that courtroom, that was a miracle, bro. That was a miracle that transcript just happened to be on the desk. And I just happened to snatch it up. And I just happened to find out that they were doing me dirty in the courtroom. And I filed with the higher courts, and they overturned it. When I got my attorney, Alex Kessel, remember, I'm poor, bro. I don't got money like that. I needed money to get that attorney. Guess what? Someone blessed me, bro. 35 G's for my attorney.
Oh, like that? Huh?
Yeah, because I was trusting in God to provide. That whole time it was like I knew that he was gonna provide. So I didn't know from where. But I was just praying in faith, and that's what faith is all about, bro. It's about believing what you know is true, but you don't even see it yet. But it's there. It's there, but it's just not there yet. Or you don't see it. That's faith. And I stood on that. And right when the time was right, bro, everything's in his timing. Right when the time was right, boom, 35 G's, bro. And I got an attorney, okay? That's one miracle. There's so many of those stories, bro, along the way that I can tell you, that I'm here to testify that God is real, and that, Jesus, specifically Jesus, because there's a lot of people say God this or the God that. That's a whole other story. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that we all have an ultimate sentence that we're gonna face in the future. We're all gonna leave this earth, stop breathing, and I believe, kind of like you were saying earlier, bro. Like you were saying earlier that I forgot what you said, but it's kind of similar. We all have this meeting, and I believe that we're all in trial, and we have sins, bro. We have sin. We've all messed up, but God, he said, look, son, look, daughter, I know you messed up. I know you carry all this shame. I know you carry this guilt. Let me take that from you. Let me make a way. He came and made a way. Jesus walked this earth, bro. The Bible's been the most authenticated history book ever. People say, oh, it changed and the Bible has been changed. Well, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they came in 1947, bro. And I heard Tony A talking about this before. You know Tony A?
Yeah, shout out to Tony A the Wizard, bro.
Yeah, Tony A the Wizard. I love that dude. He mentioned this, bro. He tripped me out because he knows about this. And I heard him talking about this, bro. He had some guy, some northerner guy. But they mentioned this. The Dead Sea Scrolls were found in 1947 or something, 48. They authenticate the Bible. So you can't say the Bible's been changed, because now we have transcripts to show that it's never been changed. There's only little minor discrepancies, little misspellings, stuff like that. But when I started realizing all this, I started digging in, bro. I started digging in, and my faith was being built, everything, So that's my story, bro, is that everything happened for a reason. There was suffering. The Bible says you're going to suffer. Contrary to popular belief, you see these televangelists, crooked dudes just trying to get your money. I can't stand religion, bro. I'm not about religion. Religion is bondage. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually having a real relationship with God, acknowledging he's there, acknowledging he can speak to you, acknowledging his word is true, and that he works in your life. He's involved in every detail of your life. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a relationship. Religion, nah. That's it.
Let that shit breathe for a minute, my G. Take a drink, dog.
And for those of you, I'm a Christian, so you guys already know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not about religion. I don't drink. But my brother, he offered me a glass of wine. Wine represents joy in the Bible. Jesus made wine. A lot of people, there's a lot of debate about it. There's nothing wrong with drinking. Some people that been involved like us, and if they're walking that line, maybe it's a bad idea. I'm not saying it's, but me, I'm drinking a glass of wine with my brother here.
Your spirit is strong.
Yeah, and I don't have no fear of, I'm gonna go. And I've never really been a drinker like that anyways, but there's no fear of that. But I want to be open and transparent with everybody. I want everybody to see that I'm just being transparent, bro. I'm just me.
Bro, we had a conversation through text. You mind if I talk about it?
Yeah, talk about it.
So everybody that comes through, bro, you know what I mean? Like, you know how we do it at Hoodstocks, dog. You know what I mean? We it's decompress. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say decompress. When you come to Hoodstocks, whatever tension is there, we want to release it. My intention is to release it. And when you sit in that chair right there, whoever the fuck you are, I want you to feel at home. I want you to decompress. And my method for individuals to come here and decompress is smoke some motherfucking weed, drink some Jack, alcoholic beverage. That's all we do right here. We ain't doing no cocaine or no crazy hard drugs because we don't do that shit no more, dog. You know what I mean? Because it's a proven fact that it doesn't work for Lucky. Lucky will fuck his whole entire life off over that shit, dog.
No doubt.
I'm a bad drug addict. I can't be a part-time drug addict.
Yeah.
But I can smoke weed and I can drink alcohol and I can decompress. And so I was like, Sticks, my G, do you smoke? Do you drink? He said, nah, dog, I don't do not one of them. And so this is my go-to thing, dog. This is my go-to thing. I read the Bible. I study the Bible. I love the Bible, bro. I feel like it's directions. We get directions on how, I got directions on how to work this right here. I got directions how to hook this mic up. Everything comes with directions. I feel like us as human beings came with directions, and the directions is in Proverbs, it's in Psalms, you know what I mean? You will learn a lot of shit of what to do and what not to do, you know what I mean? What a trip, dog, that you can get these directions out of the Bible. That's coming from me. You got my boy Loco. My boy Loco don't believe in that shit. You know Loco right there, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I feel like the Bible is directions in life. But anyways, when you think of the Bible and you think of food, you think of bread. When you think of alcohol, you think of wine. You know what I mean? So I got a Christian brother coming here. What do I want to do? I want to break bread. I want to drink wine then. You know what I mean? And so I'll be like, so I told him, I said, my boy, what about wine? Jesus drinks wine. That's what I told him. Did I not tell you that? And he said, all right, fool. He goes, you know, bro, I drank a beer when my homie got out from fucking a gang of years. And you know what, homie? I'm going to drink some wine with you. So what did I do, dog? Check it out. This is what I do. This is what we do at Hoodstocks. Who's that right there?
You got the Snoop Dogg.
That's Black Jesus. I got Black Jesus right here. That's Snoop Dogg. This is the 19 Crimes. This is the Cali Red. This is the Snoop Dogg motherfucking red wine right here. This shit is super bomb. I like it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad, I feel blessed that I can share a red cup of wine with my brother Sticks right here, dog. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, my G. And you're not off the hook yet, though. You're not off the hook. You're here on Hoodstocks. What are we in? We 2 hours in. Okay? We got a little time.
We good.
We got a little time still, bro. You're not off the hook yet. And what I mean off the hook is I don't want you to go yet.
I don't want to go yet. Let's get it.
So check it out, bro. When the I want to ask you a question. So when the San Gabriel mission got caught on fire, how did you feel about that? Oh, it's a tricky question.
I really didn't trip on it. I was tripping now, but I really didn't trip on it.
That's LOMAS right there, right?
No, that's the.
But Isn't that still a part
No.
of the? No. So
No.
you don't represent that. Then.
Nah.
Okay.
That's like
Wrong question for the wrong individual.
Other side of the freeway.
But, okay, so check it out though. But being the part that it is somewhere in the area.
But it did, I was like, whoa, what the?
How do you feel about that though? Because I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that.
I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't trip on it, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I have to be completely honest. I really didn't trip on it. It did trip me out, but I didn't trip on it to the point where I'm like, oh, like, and especially, I guess maybe that had a part of it. I don't know. That's that was the old enemy's territory. I say old because I'm not out there. I'm not out there gangbanging. There was a dude on here from Sangha earlier. Shout out to you. I ain't even tripping, man. I don't trip like that. But.
So shout out to Sangha. I mean, I know homies from their dog, and it's a solid ass neighborhood dog, and this is all love. You know what I told the homie the other day? I said, my G, check it out, bro. I treat this podcast like the yard. We're all on the same team. This podcast is to uplift individuals. Not bring them down, not cause heartache, not for you to say something that you catch a case, bro. This is hood stocks. You know what I mean? Level up your stock. We are stocks as individuals, bro. You know what I mean? So it's equal opportunity right here, bro. You know what I mean? And this is a positive platform. But anyways, when I think about the fucking, everybody was posting shit about the San Gabriel mission. I said, bro, what's the history of the San Gabriel mission? What did the San Gabriel mission do? They try to instill a certain religion on the natives, on our natives that were here on this land. They tried to instill religion, and what did they do? They used them as slaves, bro.
Yeah,
they were kind of like prisoners to the mission, bro.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I got into an argument with the female, which I never want to do, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't ever want to get in an argument with a female, so I really try to keep it light on the comment. But I had this urge, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe blah 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 blah. Ooh, this shit just burned down." I'm like, "Well, let that shit burn." You know what I mean? That shit was back in the day. I mean, you should never. I understand.
How
do you feel about that, bro?
Okay, I understand what you mean, and I'm with you on that. I'm against that. Like a lot of people get it twisted. They think Christianity is the same as Catholicism. A lot of the stuff that happened, like with the Inquisition and the all that, even the Spaniards coming over, they literally did exactly what you just said, man. This is what you believe in now, and if you don't, you getting slaughtered. And I don't
condone.
I don't condone that, and you can't force. That's why I say I try to be careful. Yeah, I like to share my faith. But I don't want nobody to think like, oh, this is just, this is me in my life, man. And this is what I believe to be true based on my research, based on everything, and digging in myself. A lot of people will have an opinion about stuff, but they never dug in themselves. They never really went into that Bible. They never seen how it was put together. They don't know how it was preserved. They don't know a lot of stuff, but they'll say because they heard it somewhere else. But to answer your question, I'm completely against that, bro, because you can't force. If that's the case, okay, I believe in the Bible. There's a good example. Adam and Eve. People say, well, if God's God, why did he let Adam and Eve do this? Well, that's the thing. God demonstrates his love through giving us free will. If he wanted robots to automatically love him, he would have created robots, but he wanted to give you free will. People say, well, did he know Lucifer was going to fall from heaven and this and that? Yeah, he did, but he allowed it anyway because he still has a plan and a purpose. And even though we don't understand it completely with our little human minds, it doesn't mean it's not true. And so you can't force someone to believe something. You can't, no, man. That has to be something that comes from them, and they have to acknowledge, like, you know what, damn. And it has to happen in their own individual lives. So someone to come and try to force that on me, I would have been right there, like fighting them dudes. Like, what you mean, So yeah, I'm against that, bro. I'm against anything like the whole organized religion and all that. That's why I said, to me, it's bondage. Nah, the Bible talks about being free from that. Jesus, the only people that he flashed on, bro, were the Pharisees, the religious people. When he called people snakes and he called them a brood of vipers, guess who he was talking to? The religious folk, the ones that were right there praying so everybody could see him. The ones that were over here doing all this stuff, no, he came to do away with that. He said, nah, man, that's not what it's about. You're a sinner. You can't even get close to me unless you're washed and you're cleansed. And all you gotta do is just repent and believe, man. Just believe, and I made it that easy for you. He suffered so much, bro. But people get it twisted. They start thinking, oh, this and that. You gotta do this. And I used to think like that, bro. I used to be in bondage. That's why I'm speaking about it. I used to be a Christian that used to think like that. And then God, he freed me from that. He said, nah, son, you got it twisted, man. I didn't come for that, man. I came to set you free. You know the famous scripture, John 3:16, for God so loved the world? Well, if you read the very next scripture, it says, I did not come to condemn the world, but to save it. That's what he said, bro. He didn't come to condemn us. We already know we're screwed. We're living in a fallen world, bro. We're living with some, look where we're at now.
Are we in Revelations right now?
I believe we are, bro. I believe we are right there. Matthew 24 is a prophetic chapter. And I believe we are right there, bro. The racial, the race wars, all the stuff going on.
I mean, what do you feel
about the vaccination?
What do you feel about the BLM?
BLM is a front, bro. BLM to me, Black lives do matter. Don't get it twisted. All lives matter. Shout out to all my colored folk. I love them. I was influenced by some of the people that influenced me the most were Black. So it's not about that. I'm talking about the organization. That organization, if you do the research, was kind of founded by three women. Two of them are open lesbians, and they try to combine the LGBT movement. And I don't got nothing against LGBT. Jesus died for you too. But what I'm saying is they combine it, and there's something else going on, bro. The higher up, they need this organization to forward their agenda. There's an agenda, bro. There's an agenda being played out.
But why now and not back in the day when Martin Luther King Jr. was alive? And
it wasn't time.
It wasn't time.
It wasn't time. But
So
what happened to him?
He got assassinated.
What happened to Malcolm X? They all got assassinated. Any dude that rises up that has any type of power or influence over people, usually they're Black, they'll get smoked. Even our people, you just don't hear about them. They didn't become famous, but a lot of people, they got smoked. The Black Panthers, I used to be heavily into the revolutionary stuff. The Black Panthers, Malcolm X. I was influenced by that a lot. They took them all out, bro. They either got them hooked on drugs or they smoked them. Bunchy Carter, the dude, all them dudes, bro. Huey P. Newton, and on. Fred Hampton in Chicago. All these dudes, bro.
Was crack cocaine? What was crack cocaine about? Was it a political agenda? Was it a political move?
No doubt, bro. Crack cocaine they flooded the streets, bro, because yeah, there was definitely, if you do the research, you look at the Iran-Contra, the whole controversy with all that, Reagan, the whole just say no, the war on drugs actually meant the war on on us. It was a war on us, man. That's what it was. But of course, they're not gonna say that. You know, a lot of people, you know, they're asleep to it, or they say, oh, conspiracy theory. No. These are conspiracy facts. These are things that actually, and if you do the research, you'll come to find out like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff to it, bro. But you know, if you don't dig in, you're just gonna go off what the news says or what you heard.
So you don't feel that BLM trickles down to us and it actually benefits us as a race, as a, you know what I mean?
Nah, I believe the Black, the movement, the whole civil rights, all that. Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed.
But isn't this a part of the civil rights, the BLM movement?
But right now, the BLM movement that we have now, I believe it's a front. I believe it's a front to further an agenda, because if it's true that Black Lives Matter, they're not pushing. How come they ain't going hard like that for everything else, bro? You know how many Black babies get killed before they're even born? How come there's no outcry about that? There's no outcry about none of that. There's only an outcry about one dude. Yeah, it's not just him. It's consistently, and I agree with that. I agree with that, bro. There has to be justice. I'm for that. I don't want people getting it twisted. But I am not for some rich tycoon dude or these dudes that run these bankers that control, basically, that dictate wars and dictate all the things that are happening, that put all this money into these organizations, and they have this agenda, bro. They have this agenda where they're trying to push a certain agenda and make it seem a certain way for a reason, bro. There's a reason we're heading in a certain direction. And so that I'm not with that, bro, because I could see through the smoke screen. You know what I mean? A lot of people.
You feel it's a big smoke. I mean, I hear people talking about it all the time, bro, saying that this is just this and that. There's a lot of, I try to pay attention to a lot of the shit out there, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on. And I don't like to get my mind too intertwined in that because I feel like it could possibly be unhealthy for my health.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you're right.
Just like the news. Don't watch the fucking news every day, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not healthy for you. It's really going to poison your mind, and really, it's going to make you sick watching this fucking shit, dog. You know what I mean?
Imagine the homies that are busted. That's all they watch, bro. And I talked to him, my homeboy Yogi's in Calipat. And it's sad because you have your TV, you're in your cell, and you want to know what's going on in the street. You kind of feel connected to the street by watching the news. But what is the news pumping out? Bunch of negativity. Bro. If you don't got anxiety now, you're going to get anxiety if you watch the news. Believe that.
Honestly, bro, so you know my mental state. I know your mental state. We briefly touched on it. And obviously we connect on a couple levels, right? I stopped watching the news, bro, because honestly, dog.
Me too.
I felt my anxiety levels spike, bro. I hate having anxiety, bro, because it's my weakness, bro. You know what I mean? It controls me sometimes when I hate to be controlled. I'm human, dog. I'm not the hardest motherfucker. I'm not this. I'm not that, dog. I got all kinds of fucking kinks going on with me, dog. I'm trying to work it out to this fucking day, bro, to make myself better. If I make myself better, then it's better for my fucking family, dog. And the way to make myself better, dog, is sometimes I don't watch the motherfucking news, dog, because I feel like it's poisoning our minds, bro. They're telling us this, that. But, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, why don't you tell motherfuckers what they need to do with their motherfucking life, bro? Maybe if all right, these patients are deficient of these vitamins. You know what I mean?
You know what you said, what you mentioned about the zinc? Okay. You know they're trying to suppress that, bro? On Facebook, bro, there's fact checkers. FYI, man. Those fact checkers on Facebook and all that, those people are not just biased. They're purposely placed there to remove anything that goes against the agenda, man. You guys got to know this, man.
But what is the agenda, bro?
The agenda ultimately is to have full control over humanity, bro. And the Bible talks about it. Revelation chapter 13 talks about a time where you will not be able to buy or sell unless you have this mark on your forehead or on your hand. And I don't know what this mark is, but it's coming.
Is it a vaccination? A vaccination?
It could be.
Is it a chip?
It very well could be. It could be a chip. But I'm going to tell you this much. Nowadays, I don't trust vaccines as it is. If you do the research on
I don't
vaccines,
do vaccine on my kids,
I don't do,
bro.
Yeah, me either. But I did in the beginning, bro. But now I'm not gonna. I will not allow anybody to vaccinate my son after all this stuff, bro. After all this stuff, I'm not gonna. I can't do it as a father. I can't do it, and that's my right as a father. But guess what? Forced vaccinations are coming. Did you see Trump? He said, I have a YouTube channel for you guys that don't know, Righteous by Faith on YouTube. I put a video up, real brief, just Trump talking. Trump says. They ask him, "Oh, how are you gonna administer these vaccinations when they're here?" This fool got serious, bro. His whole face, he goes, "Oh, we got the military. They're set up. They're ready to go and they're gonna administer these vaccinations in a very powerful way." And he just like his whole demeanor, like straight evil, bro.
Very powerful way.
Yeah, and I'm like, and people that see this, they're oblivious, bro. People like they think I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm showing you this dude's. They're telling you right in your face. How would you feel? How could you not give someone a choice? I understand you're gonna say, okay, but guess what's coming? You're not gonna be able to work. You're not gonna be able to do certain things if you don't have the vaccination.
So how do you feel about right now, bro? How they're just basically shutting everything down, and the people that are shutting this shit down, bro, they are still getting paid their regular check, bro. How do you feel about that, brother? Is that fair? Should be opened up and it be at motherfuckers' discretion?
It should be at your discretion, and a lot of people will probably call me a fool because of it. But here's the thing. Where we're at now, man. Where we're at. We already seen, I believe in the beginning it's cool. Shut everything down. Okay? But where we're at now, in the way we're going, they don't want us to have, they're coming for our freedom, bro. The Constitution of the United States is no longer in effect the way it used to, bro. Trust me on that. The Constitution of the United States says that you're supposed to have a religious freedom. What are they doing to pastors, bro? What are they doing to these churches? Okay, you may not believe, and that's your right to say, okay, church is not essential, this and that. But right now is when people need that more. And guess what they did? They shut it down. Why? How are you gonna take a constitutional right and say, but you're gonna say, oh, it's okay to demonstrate and protest, or it's okay to go to Walmart, or it's okay to do all these other things, but you can't. These people that are suffering, they got all this stuff that they're going through at home now, and they need some type of spiritual help or healing, but everything's shut down. That right there, they already violated the Constitution right there. That's just one example, bro. They're probably coming for the guns too. They're probably gonna come for the guns, bro. Sad to say, but we have a right to bear arms in this country.
Why are gun sales so far up right now? Like they can't.
Because people know.
They can't keep a gun on the counter right now.
Because
bro.
People know what's coming, bro.
Why are people strapping up, bro?
Because people know what's coming.
What's coming?
What's coming is forced vaccinations. That's number one. Forced vaccinations. Number two, that's gonna affect everything, bro. And what I believe, here's what I believe, man. And I'm not saying it's true. I hope it's not, actually. But I believe this is what's going to happen. Towards the end of this year, things are going to get a lot worse. And I believe there might be something now. I believe the corona thing was just an experiment. And it was just to kind of get things kind of like... But what if something else came that was worse than COVID and people just start dropping? What are people going to do when people just start dropping? Fear is going to kick in. And once that fear kicks in, people are willingly going to give up every single thing they got just to stay safe, okay? And that's how they're going to take full control of things, bro. That's what I believe, okay? And only the people that really can really have a strong faith, bro, and they can trust that God, He will provide. The Bible says, don't worry about what you're going to wear or eat, okay? I'm going to provide. If I provide for these little birds, I'm going to provide. How much more important are you, a human being, someone that's made in God's image? How much more important are you than these birds? That's what Jesus was saying. He was saying something, but He was making a statement. And the same goes for right here, right now. If they were to shut down all this, if they were to say the gig is up and they shut everything down and we can't go here unless we do this, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to just say, you know what? I got a family. Do whatever you need to do. But some of us are not going to follow. We're not going to fall in that category. And they're going to shun us, bro. They're going to say, you guys are the outcasts. Society, and most society are going to be behind it. Yeah, get rid of them. These people, they don't want to go with the flow. You know what I mean? They ain't with the whole BLM. They ain't with this. They ain't with that. And those people are going to be ostracized. And I believe a lot of those people are going to be Christian because the Bible already predicted this thousands of years ago. The Bible says, place your faith in me because you don't even know. We could lose our life today. And are we ready to meet our maker? A lot of people ain't, bro. That's why I come on here and if I can at least reach one person, praise the Lord, man. But that's why,
So check it out. If you believe this is a smokescreen, correct? Mm-hmm. Then how do you explain some of these deaths? Is it just...
No. It's real. No. I'm not saying that it's fake. I'm not one of those dudes that say, no, I know people personally that already died from it.
Yeah.
No, I know plenty of people. What I'm saying is they purposely put this out and they're using it to get to where they need to be.
To further their agenda.
To further their agenda and to experiment. It's like an experiment, bro. It's an experiment to kind of see, okay, we're gonna see how it goes here. Now we're gonna bring the real banger. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna unleash the real beast. And when that happens, bro, fear is not of God. Fear is something that consumes people, and it can drastically affect every aspect of your life. And those of us that have families, we have children. I'm not gonna front, bro. I'm not gonna front in front of all these people. I get afraid sometimes. I'm like, damn, you know, for my son, bro. Like,
for our kids.
But yeah, for our kids.
Yeah.
But then I go and I crack open my word, or I throw on some worship music and I start talking to God. And God tells me, son, I got you in the palm of my hand, man. If I got you out of that situation you were in, I can do anything. Trust in me, man. You're going to be with me soon anyways. Because the Bible talks about the rapture of the church. And it talks about the 7-year tribulation. Those 7 years, bro, is going to be hell on earth. And you don't want to be here when that happens.
Are we here right now?
No. I don't think we're there yet. But we're at the door. We're at the door. And eventually that door is going to crack open. And those 7 years is going to start. And we want to be on the right side. You know, that's what I believe.
Take a drink of that red wine right there. I wanna spit me a flow.
Oh man, I don't even.
Spit me a flow.
I don't even. You know what? I don't even have my stuff. Are
you with it right now?
I don't have my stuff memorized, but I just put out a song called Battle Cry, and it's about what we're talking about right now.
Where's it at, bro?
It's on YouTube, Righteous by Faith.
Is it getting monetized right now?
No, I don't monetize my stuff.
Can we play it right here?
Yeah, you could play it. I don't even.
You guys want to hear a song by the homie right here?
Everything we're talking about is in there. Play it right now.
Yeah, you guys want to hear a song from the homie? Let's do it. Let me pull it up. As long as it ain't getting monetized and shit, I can fucking play that shit right here.
Type in Battle Cry song, and it'll pop right up. Or Battle Cry R.I.P. Type it in like that at the top. At the top, Battle Cry R.I.P.
Okay, I see.
Those are my initials, by the way, R.I.P. And it's right at the top.
Featuring Cali Dreams?
Yes.
Hey, check it out. You guys want to hear this shit? Are we with it right now? Hey, shout out to my boy Shooter. Shout out to John McHugh. Shout out to Emilio Zapata. Shout out to Mr. Frank Forever 40. My Goonies. Shout out to Little Mark. Shout out to Don Castro. You guys want to hear this shit? Shout out to JJ. Shout out to Ellie Cruz, always tapping in. Shout out to Jacqueline. Shout out to motherfucking everybody. Manny Flowers. Shout out to Michael Hernandez. Shout out to everybody. My boy Adam Rodriguez. I see you. Boop, bop, bop, bop. You guys want to hear this shit?
The Goonies.
The Goonies. Look at them go. Look at them go.
Man, you got faithful Goonies, man.
Here we go.
We are living in the end times. Wake 'em up, hear my battle cry. We already in the end times. Wake 'em up, hear the battle cry. We are living in the end times. Wake 'em up, hear my battle cry. We already in the end times. Wake 'em up, hear the battle cry.
Unleashing God's word one verse at a time. Jesus in the scriptures, that's the food for my mind. That's the food for my spirit, that's the fuel for these lyrics. And that's screaming from the mountaintop so everyone can hear it. Don't you all see that we living in the end times? All up in your face, how you missing all these dang signs? I ain't talking gang signs, tap into the gang mind. Slamming heroin, sniffing on them white lines. That's what Jesus came for, he died and resurrected. Took your imperfection so that you can be perfected. The Son of Man was tested, the Son of God was tempted. You ain't got salvation, better put it on your checklist. Think you're living good, but boy, you're living reckless. Think your soul is good, cause the cross is on your necklace. But that's a misconception, homie, better check this. Listen to this battle cry and listen to this message.
By the spirit I'm walking. Your flesh that be talking. Ain't really say nothing. For my Lord I be coming. Cause who gonna run it? My Lord gonna run it. I keep it 100. My Lord gonna run it. In the blink of an eye, all believers will be raptured.
Don't get left behind.
The mark of the beast, but no peace and be captured.
Great tribulation.
Believe we're gonna fly, wake up from your slumber.
That's the battle cry. That's the battle cry.
When the horns and the trumpet sound, if you're gonna run it.
That's the battle cry. That's the battle cry. Prophecies unfolding right before our very eyes. No, I don't trust the government. Satan's in disguise. I don't trust the media. All they feeding me is lies. Looking all around me, everybody's hypnotized. Am I the only one awake? Am I the only one alive? Will they take the vaccination? Do they think they will survive? Won't you think about it, brother? Won't you think about it, sister? Won't you think about it, cousin? Won't you think about it, mister? Life is too short and eternity's forever. I do this cause I love you. I ain't trying to sound clever. Jesus and the gospel's all I want you to remember. Every time I speak from January to December. What you gonna say when you stand before the throne? Standing all alone, yeah, and everybody gone. Pay attention when I say this is more than just a song. I put the truth inside a clip and then I blast it when you're gone.
Blink of an eye, all believers will be raptured.
Don't get left behind.
The mark of the beast, but no peace and be captured.
Great tribulation.
Believe we're gonna fly, wake up from your slumber.
That's the battle cry. That's the battle cry.
When the horns and the trumpet sound, if you're gonna run it.
That's the battle cry. That's the battle cry.
By the spirit I'm walking. Your flesh that be talking. Ain't really say nothing. For my Lord I be coming. Cause who gonna run it? My Lord gonna run it. I keep it 100. My Lord gonna run it.
In the blinking of an eye, all believers will be raptured. Don't get left behind, get the mark and get captured. No more eating out, all the party and laughter is going out the window cause we in the final chapter. Just look how they got us quarantined, coronavirus. Politicians don't care, just puppets sent to divide us. This was a setup to prepare us for what is coming. The devil in the flesh with the Luciferian government. Controlling through tyranny, futuristic technology. Invading biology, inspired by demonology. The only hope we got in this world is the blood of Christ. The only thing that matters at the end is eternal life. Where you gonna spend it, homie? Where you gonna spend it, bro? Where you gonna live forever? Where's you gonna send your soul? He's the one that's in control when you live and when you go. If you wanna make it in, he's the one you got to know. Show. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore comfort one another with his word.
Okay, I see what you're doing right here, my boy. Damn, homie.
I've been writing for years, bro, and I never went to go lay it down and record. Finally, I'm gonna go record next week, bro. Like 3 songs in one day. You know what I mean? I got a lot of stuff.
I mean, you trying to put out a message, right?
Yeah, that's what it's about. I don't monetize my stuff.
It's just the message.
The message, that's it.
You're not trying to be the next fucking
I'm not trying
Drake.
to none of that. Nah, I know I'm not. I ain't none of that, man. I'm just a regular dude. But I love music. I'm a hip hop.
How did you get into music, bro?
I'm a hip hop junkie, bro.
So check it out. No, that's a retarded question. Check it out. My girl hates when I say retarded because when my kids act stupid, I'm like, man, you fucking. None of these exact words, but basically I tell them they're acting retarded. You know what I mean?
I know. I use that sometimes too.
And my girl gets mad. She's like, how you gonna say they're retarded? Whoa, 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 bop, bop, bop. And I'm like, because they're acting fucking retarded. It's no discrimination.
When I get mad, I say that too. I know I shouldn't. But
why should you not say it though? If I'm acting retarded, tell me I'm acting fucking retarded. Why is this such a sensitive word, bro?
Yeah, it's just
for the people that are mentally disabled, aka retarded, like myself. I mean, come on, bro. It's so sensitive, bro. Cut that shit out, dog. You know what I mean? If I'm okay, you're not acting retarded. Would you please calm down? Cause you're what's the proper way of saying it, dog? Say it to me. Do you know?
What do you mean, like?
No, what is the correct way to say it in 2020 when anybody is acting retarded? What is the politically correct way to tell someone, say, hey, stop acting stupid?
You're acting uncivilized. I don't know, bro. I mean,
you sounding like a Karen right now, bro.
Oh my God.
Hey, that was a banger though, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Bro.
My first song, I'm
not into Christian rap.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. It wasn't Christian rap.
Yeah.
It was just a message.
Yes,
it was a message, and it really matters. Check it out. It really matters years of abuse. Special person, yeah. Emilio, I see you, dog. I forgot what I was gonna say about what it matters and shit. You're acting like a special person. Fuck that. Don't call me a special person because I'll take more. I'd rather be called retarded. I mean, because if you're retarded, you're fucking cool as fuck. You know what I mean? You're going against all odds. You're breaking the rules. You're acting a fool. You're doing what the fuck you want to do, dog. Get retarded with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, don't get special person with it. You know what I mean? Anyways, bro. The life is crazy. Let me ask you a question. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. What is your first thoughts?
I'm not into the politics, bro. I guess I believe all politicians are driven, I guess, from the background, and they're you know, they're playing a role, but the president has a boss. That's how I see it, bro. I believe the president has to follow a certain quota, a certain agenda, whatever you want to call it, and so I believe there's at the higher level, there's people dictating both sides or causing confusion. So right now in these times, I believe politics are actually to keep you distracted. I believe the politics are to keep you distracted, and that none of that really matters because at the end of the day, whoever's meant to be there is gonna be there. But as far as Biden, I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't support none of them. But as far as Biden, I've seen some creepy stuff, bro. I've seen some this dude.
The kid shit.
The kid, yeah, and I've seen a lot of it.
Whispering a little girl's ears.
Bro,
I got Skittles.
Bro, there's a dude. I just seen this video. There's a dude.
Skittles. I like now-a-laters, bitch.
Hey, there's this dude. There's this little girl, and this dude's reaching. Biden's like, and then he sees, and he like, his attention just boom, like lasers, bro, like boom, and then this older man, and he slaps Biden's hand away, bro, from the kid.
Stop it.
It's like they know. It's like they.
That's my niece.
Yeah, it's like they know that this dude's a known pedophile, and I think a lot of them are, bro. Look at the whole Epstein thing. You know, they've been suppressing
they got a
that.
homegirl. What's her name? Deborah or some shit. I don't
yeah,
know
like they you know,
the partner in crime doing all that crazy shit.
Yeah, so a lot of that, bro, is going on behind closed doors. A lot of the pedophilia and all that. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of that guy. I honestly, like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he said, especially about like our people and all that stuff. But I'd rather have him than the other dude in there.
That's a powerful statement, brother. Because that's a big statement.
Because I don't even follow politics, but I'm just
that's a very powerful statement. You might get haunted from that statement. You might get harassed from that statement. I respect it because you have the nuts to say it. When a lot of people feel that way and they don't have the nuts to say it. Yeah. Now, I necessarily don't need to have the nuts to say it because I don't feel that way. I you know how I feel? Fuck all these motherfucking politicians, dog. They're all fucking snakes in the grass, dog. They all have a fucking political fucking agenda, dog. You know what I mean? And fuck them all, dog. You know what I mean? They're fucking this. We need to find a new system. We need to fucking figure this shit out on how to do it than putting these motherfuckers on these fucking platforms. You know what? Fuck this, dog. Why does someone that was a governor once upon our DA, Kamala Harris, she was fucking convicting everybody, bro. Yeah. Weed charges, homie. She was putting the book on fools, dog. The fools were doing fucking gang of time, homie.
Here's what happens, bro. Because of Trump's outburst and all that crap, right? And people become Trump haters. People will gladly accept anybody. It doesn't matter what you've done. They don't even research what the person, like I know you have, because I seen your post about her.
And I'm a dumb motherfucker too, dog. This is a dumb motherfucker looking at this shit, dog.
Yeah, that's basic research.
This is basic research, dog, that anybody can do. Yeah. I don't ever try to come off smart, but I come off like, oh shit, look at this shit right here. Let me share this shit. Yeah. Bro, I am fucking retarded. Yeah, but like I call my kids sometimes, I am the same thing. I am retarded. I'm a retarded dude that had some retarded kids. No. Just fucking around, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games. I'm just bullshitting. I mean, I don't need fucking social services knocking on my door saying, hey, we taking care of you. We taking away your kids because you called them retarded. I'm like, well, you better take me too. You better take me too because I'm retarded too. This is we are in a circus whirlwind, bro.
That's why I say it's a distraction, bro.
We are in trouble.
Because look, okay, let's just say for argument's sake,
we're in trouble.
Let's say some of the stuff we were talking about is true, right? Let's say what I was saying about the vaccination. Let's say that's all true, right? This whole everything going on with the politics, all this stuff, is clearly a distraction, bro. And if you look past that, people will call you a conspiracy theorist. But I believe they coined that phrase, conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist. I believe that phrase was coined specifically to remove any type of credibility from anything, any belief that is contrary to what they're pushing or to what the mainstream pushes as a conspiracy. I believe they created that term. And there's a lot of people that are like-minded like me that believe that term. Because once someone says conspiracy theory, something happens in your mind that automatically it pretty much pushes it to the side. Okay, that's a conspiracy theory. Nah, man. There's stuff that's going on that you don't hear about in mainstream media that is real, that's really happening. And people call it a conspiracy theory, but it's true. Okay?
Check it out, bro. You guys want to see a first female president? Let's flip the system upside down. Let's pick a woman, a female. Doesn't matter what color she is. But we're going to talk about the class. Let's pick a female that has suffered adversity. She was a single mother of 3 kids. She found a way, without child support, without government assistance, to raise these 3 kids on her own, to get an education, to find herself a career to support these kids and put them through college. Let's find that woman right there. And let's put her on a presidential level. Let's give her the fucking position of vice president, president. Let's put someone that has been through real life. And let's let her make decisions because she raised these fucking kids. She found a way from her adversity to get through these fucking obstacles of this deck of cards, this hand of cards that she was dealt with. It was fucked up. It was like a fucking, it was a 2 of spades and it was a fucking 3 of clubs and it was a fucking king and a fucking jack. You know what I mean? We're playing Omaha right now. You know what I mean? 4-card poker, you know? Let's give her, but she found a way to win with that hand. She probably bluffed the fuck out of them. Acted like she had fucking 4 of a kind or trips or some crazy shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know? Let's put her in that position, bro. Why do we gotta put this fucking female, bro, there was a DA once upon a time ago. She found a way to work her way through the political system, which is all fucking crooked. You know what I mean? You gotta play the game to fucking elevate. You know what I mean? You gotta be 2-faced, 3-faced, 4-faced, 5-faced. I don't mean to ramble off on this shit, dog, but I feel very strong about it. Let's put a woman from the fucking hood, dog, that has faced adversity and she rose from that adversity. You know what I mean? Not that she was brave. She wasn't raised in a fucking silver spoon fucking family, dog, where she was able, without any effort, to get where she got, or I mean, who knows? Maybe Kamala Harris' story is different. I don't know her background, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Put a regular person. Donald Trump isn't a regular person. He's a fucking a TV star. He's a fucking this. He's a that, dude. Like, all right, Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? She's a fucking DA that played the system, and she somehow, some way, wiggled herself into the Times, the BLM movement, and Joe Biden's playing the best card in this fucking deck that's gonna get him the presidency. I'm gonna vote for him, bro, because I want Donald Trump out, dog. You know what I mean? I had enough of that, bro. I'm going to vote for them, but I don't believe in them, though, bro.
Well, I don't believe, that's the thing. I don't believe what you just described can happen Because the system's rigged, bro.
But that's why we said we got to turn the system upside down.
That's what. Yeah.
That's why I know it's a far-fetched fucking
because
a dream. It's a movie. It's not real.
You know
what I mean?
I believe it was Roosevelt. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you guys could Google it. He said, presidents are not elected. They're selected. In other words, these dudes, they've been groomed, bro. They've been groomed from childhood for these positions. Because if you dig deep enough, you'll see that a lot of these people are related, bro. And people don't even know that. You gotta dig a little deep, because you're not gonna find, even Google is very biased now. The stuff that you can find on Google, you can't find it no more, bro. Trust me. I'm a hardcore researcher. I'm not like a really, but I like to research, bro. I like to dig in and see, okay, I need to know that what I'm speaking about, that I can have something to support it and back it up.
Yeah, it has some type of foundation.
Yeah, some type of foundation. So I like to dig in. And I'm here to tell you, I used to dig in since I got out, 2013 up till now. It's completely Google, bro. It's like YouTube, they're censoring everything, bro. Why is that? There's a reason, bro. Everything. You ever heard of that book, 1984? It's a book.
I just ordered it, bro.
Okay.
I just started it, bro.
Is that right?
I swear to God. Dog.
Okay, trip out.
I'll show it to you at the end of the podcast.
So that book, bro, it's a good read, bro. You got to get into it. But this dude's talking about a future time where they're even tapping into your thoughts.
He predicted this. What's going on right now?
He predicted what's going on right now, and so we're heading in. That's where the term Big Brother. That's where that phrase came from. That book, 1984. That's where that term Big Brother. That's where it comes from that book.
And the Big Brother.
Big Brother is
the
one watching. Yeah, and so, but the reason I mention that is because we are literally there in that time right now, and what they really want to do. When you really get deeper, you talk about transhumanism. These elites, these dudes, the elites, bro, the people that run this world, the ones that make the decisions in the background, the shadow government, the people you don't see. Some of them you do, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, George Soros, all these other dudes. These dudes, bro, they pretty much dictate, they run this country, bro. These fools are Luciferians, man. And when you dig deep, you start to see what these dudes are about. But the reason I mention that is because these guys, bro, they're even talked about in the Bible, in Book of Revelation. It says that the kings of the earth, that the rich people, they're gonna be in the mountains. They're gonna be underground, bro. Right now they got bunkers set up all over the place where something's gonna happen, and they're gonna be screaming, fall on us. They're gonna be screaming to the mountains, fall on us. Because the wrath of God is coming upon them, bro, for all the evil they've done in this world, bro. There's so much suffering. You know why they're suffering in this world right now? All the crazy stuff. They could have stopped it a long time ago, but they haven't, because they're evil, bro. It's all about money. Money, they wanna have it. They're greedy. They want to have everything for themselves, and they want to have the whole rest of the world subservient to them. And their aim, if you look it up, you guys look up the Georgia Guidestones. Right now, bro, right now in Georgia, there are two big old slabs of stone. They're called the Georgia Guidestones. And it says that the goals is for them to have the population under 5 million, I believe. You know how many human beings there are on this planet right now? There's over 7 billion. We're heading towards 8 billion. They want it reduced all the way to 5 million, and they want to be on top, controlling the rest. And the reason I'm mentioning all this is because transhumanism comes into play. These elites, they want to live forever, but they want to enter through the back door. The Bible says anybody that tries to come in through any other way than this way, you got something coming, man. You're not going to be able to sneak in. And these guys, they want to stay alive. Transhumanism, it has made it possible where they merge technology with human, and they're gonna be able to basically tap in and be connected to the internet. They want whoever's connected. That's what the mark of beast is all about. You get connected to the internet, bro, and once you take that mark, you're done. And what I believe is that God, He's gonna let these people stay alive forever. He's gonna say, okay, you created your own hell. You're gonna be alive forever, but you're gonna be suffering in hell, and you're gonna be alive forever. That's what I believe.
Homie, talk your motherfucking shit, dog. Drop some gems on these dudes, dog.
I mean,
you know
so-
what, bro? Open the doors. The mind is a fucking long hallway. It's an endless hallway, bro. And one thing we gotta do is we gotta continue walking through that hallway and challenging everything around us, including ourselves, dog. And continue opening doors in your fucking mind. And when I say that, I mean expand it. This brother right here, now, I may not agree with 100%, he says.
No doubt, yeah.
I may not agree, but I may not disagree either, bro. This dude right here just opened some doors in my mind, brother.
Appreciate that, man.
And I love you for that, brother.
You already know.
Sticks, Varrio, LOMAS.
I
homie.
appreciate you for letting me even spit this.
I mean, imagine Sticks. 9-year-old Sticks. Did you ever see the future of who you are now, bro?
I literally did not think I would even make it to 18. You know? And then once I was there, I was like, I probably ain't gonna make it past this age. And I'm 41. I'm 41 years old, man.
41 looking like fucking 25, homeboy.
That's prison. I guess that's the good thing of prison, man. It preserves you all that time.
You're compassionate. I mean, what you believe in, homie. Some people can't articulate what they believe in, homie. Let's get religious. Can Lucky get religious? Lucky's gonna get religious right now. Last time I was in the LA County jail, I was in there 2011. I had a case in Arizona. Before I got extradited, I had a fight, possession of bullets. You know what I mean? Case in LA County jail. I'm a fucking, I'm a firm believer in spirituality, the higher power. Call it God, call it Jesus, call it whatever the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, I would, when I was in there, sisters, like I told you with the cancer thing, I prayed a lot, bro. But I was active in the system, 1,000%. So this is what I did. LA County Jail, dog. I went against the norm. But mind you, I'm a grown man now that's already given about 11 years in the system. You know what I mean? I'm not new to the system. I'm coming in my mid-30s, you know? And the prayer circle was always frowned down upon. I'm in Supermax. And there would be a prayer circle, bro. And once upon a time ago when I was a kid, you a bitch ass motherfucker, homie. If you in that prayer circle, you're fucking weak, homie. You ain't about that motherfucking life, bro. You're fucking making yourself look bad, homie. You can't eat none of this motherfucking spread right here, homie. That was the mentality, bro. 2011, mid-30s. Praying for my sister. Praying to get out. I know I got to get extradited to Arizona to fight a case out there. I always silently prayed to myself since I started first fighting my cases. But I wanted to prove to the homies when I was in Supermax that you could be in the prayer circle and you could still be a bad motherfucker, homie.
Yeah.
And you know what, homie? I used to play poker, pinochle with the homies, and we'd be having heated because I'm the dude that talks shit, homie. Like, pop, motherfucker, bop, 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 bop. Pay me my motherfucking money. Put that shit on my bunk right now. Like, I was a dick about it, bro. And I had homies that were like, homie, like, fool, you got me fucked up, homie. I ain't the one, homie. We're taking underneath the staircase. You know what I mean? Underneath the staircase, homie. You know? But, so meanwhile, while I am being me, when it came to prayer circle, I said, you know what? Fuck what these fools are thinking about. I know what they're thinking about, because once upon a time ago, I was that dude thinking about that same shit. And I would go right there, dog. I don't know if I would do it, bro, because I believe in prayer, bro, the power of prayer, but I would do it too to be a dick, homie, and piss them off, and I'll be like, what up, fool? You know what I mean?
But it's also you maturing a little bit too, like.
It's me coming in as a 34, 35-year-old man, bro. You know what I mean? It's been through a lot of motherfucking trials and tribulations, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I would get in that prayer circle, dog. And the homies would look at me and they'd be like, fuck, look, you a fool, boo. And I'd be like, why, bro? You know what I mean? It's just power of prayer, homie. You should believe in that shit. Whoa, 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 bop, bop, bop. You
And
know
guess
what I mean?
what? You probably right now are a product of some of that prayer, bro. I believe I'm a product of prayer. My mom was a praying mom. And I know, bro, my prayers have been answered, bro. A lot of my prayers have been answered, bro. And I didn't even think I could be a father. Boom, I'm a father now. Like, I wanted to have a son, you know what I mean? Boom, the Lord gave me a son, you know? Like I said, man, things ain't perfect, man. I still struggle. I still go through stuff, man. I still struggle with temptation. I still, you know, all of that. But
what's temptation when you are the individual that you're now? What is temptation?
Temptation, man, is women, even neighborhood stuff, drugs.
What gets you when it comes to women? What gets you? Is it the titties or is it the ass?
Nah, just, you know, I've always
I'm just
said,
playing, bro. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
No,
bro.
I can answer that. I've always said, bro, and I've been transparent with my wife. Well, I keep it real. I'm keeping it real with all of you guys and with the whole world, but you know, as a man, bro, you know, I'm a married man, but as a man, you know, women are beautiful, bro. I believe babies and women are God's most beautifulest creation, and women are beautiful, man. There's beautiful women all over the world, but I tell them, you know, at the same time, I want to be faithful. I'm faithful to my wife. You know, I know I won't cheat on her, but I want to be faithful to my wife in my mind too. I want to be faithful to her on every level, and that's a struggle, bro.
I mean,
I'm a Christian man. I walk with the Lord, but I'm not gonna front and act like, no, man. We still struggle, man. We still sometimes.
I mean, it's in your face 24/7, brother.
Exactly. And sometimes that little war, that battle, as a Christian, I'm talking about as a man of God, it intensifies, bro. Because the devil, he comes and he just hits you with everything, bro. Because when you're not walking with the Lord, it's a free. You could do whatever the hell you want. But when you're walking with the Lord, you're battling, bro. You're in a spiritual battle. And if you ain't on your toes, you can fall. I've fallen as a Christian. I went back to smoking bud. You know what I mean? I went back to different stuff.
No, bro. What the fuck? Why is weed a sin in the
Christian? No. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. See, that's another topic. Because it helped me, you know, with anxiety. It helped. Yeah. But me, I don't want to rely on nothing else other than the Lord. That was my thing. I don't want to alter my mind state, you know, or anything. But like I said, bro, that's a topic that we could discuss where I can kind of make it make sense to where the point where, you know, because some people, they might even see, oh, look at this. Nah, man. Okay. Drinking. The Bible condemns being a drunkard, because when you're drunk, you can do a lot of stupid stuff.
Ooh.
You can cause fights. So the Bible says, hey, but the Bible also says that wine was meant to celebrate, to bring joy to the spirit, to kind of, you know, help you. So I don't condemn that. There's a lot of pastors that they'll tell you the same thing. But if you came from that lifestyle and alcohol's a problem, I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't recommend it, and I wouldn't want to do it to be a stumbling block. Like if you were, you know, if you were trying to, like, you know, walk that line, I wouldn't try to do it in front of you because it might make you stumble. And that's why, you know, I did it here with you because, you know, I felt I could do it, bro. But I don't want to be a stumbling block.
I don't mean to be a stumbling block.
No.
In your life,
nah. But you're not, bro. You're not.
I want to be a speed bump.
I could have said no and just not did it.
I don't want to be a stumbling block. I want to be a speed bump. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want you to go, oh shit.
Nah, but see, something like that.
Dead body?
Nah, but something like that, I could do it, bro, because I know I don't have a problem with that, and that's not my. Yeah, you know.
I mean, it's not crack cocaine. It's not the poogie. Yeah. I mean.
But yeah, bro. As far as the struggle, what you said, you asked me about my struggles. Hey, bro, all of that, the worldliness, the world, bro. The flesh, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. The Bible talks about this. The lust of pride, bro. The you know, all of that, bro. Anger. You know what I mean? Driving. You know, just 2 weeks ago, no, a week ago, bro. I was in my neighborhood. I was going to pick up a cake, and this dude, bro, he just honky, boom, boom, and I flashed on him, bro. Like, and I try to. but it just came out. And it just came out, the anger, bro. And I was like, wow. But it kind of showed me where I'm still at. I still struggle with that, bro. Like, you know, it's hard to suppress that or to kind of like turn the other way and like, you know. But there's been other times where I've been able to, it could have been a fight, but thank God I was able to, let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
No, I
keep
pick
it pushing, you know.
I mean, even without having to say that fucking, you know, I'm walking with the Lord, I'm this and that, because I walk with my faith, and my faith is strong, brother. You know what I mean? I don't need to put, you know what I mean, whatever on it. But I'm just saying, like, I most definitely pick and choose my battles. I mean, and it's not to be on some fucking anything punk shit, nothing like that. It's just like, as a grown man and having responsibility and having the people that depend on you, you know, you really need to, you know, watch your choices in fucking life, because decisions and choices, bro, which is the same motherfucking word, bro, can really, really throw a monkey wrench in the system if they are not correct, you know? So just on that fact, you know what I mean? Like, my kids are my religion. My sanity is my religion. My well-being is my religion, to choose right. And when you choose right, you can tend to be, you know, choosing what the Bible tells you how to conduct yourself as a fucking human being. You know, if you like it or not.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I want. My aim, bro, is to be obedient to the Lord, bro. I mean, to what He says and to His leading. Sometimes I've done stuff, bro, that on the natural it wouldn't seem right. Like a lot of people just coming on here. I watch you, bro. I know how you do your thing. You get your puff on, you get your drink on, whatever. You let your you know, your guests, you know, do their thing. And I already knew that. And a lot of people, oh, this dude. But the Lord kind of put in my heart to reach out to you, bro, and to do it.
Thank you.
And I'm
brother.
here, and I don't.
Thank you to the you and to the Lord.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
I mean,
I want to do.
Inspiring, brother.
Yeah, I want to do. For a change, I want to do what He wants me to do.
I mean, you're putting yourself in an environment which you do not really kick it in.
Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah.
You know, we got drinking, we got smoking. You know, we got fucking midget strippers in the background shaking their ass right now. Woo, look at that shit right there.
I was gonna say that, bro. Like, man, why'd you know what I mean? Why you bring the midgets for? You know what I mean?
Everybody loves midgets, just like everybody loves the circus, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking with you.
Nah, but yeah, I knew, you know,
you knew what you were getting yourself into when you said, you know what, I'm willing to fuck with this platform, you know, and come out and tell my story. And thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it so much, bro. You coming and, you know, sharing your story. A lot of people had heard it, some of it before, you know. And usually I don't like to have dudes that have told their story on other platforms, on this platform.
But it was different.
But I really feel it was different, dog. You know what I mean? And when you reached out to me, and then I checked you out, and then I kind of seen what you had on YouTube, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, well, I usually don't like to do this, dog, but I felt in my heart, dog, that it was going to be good for the fucking podcast. It was going to be good for the platform, you know what I mean? It was just going to be beneficial, bro, which it has, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you tell to the kids out there right now, bro?
Yeah, and I'm involved in a lot of stuff besides, you know, the COVID kind of messed things up, but, you know, I my heart, bro, is with the youth and with the hood, you know, anybody, not just my hood. I'm talking about, when I say the hood, I mean gang members, bro. My heart is with gang members. My heart is with youngsters, especially like little troubled youth, you know what I mean? And I recently got linked up like with some youngsters from my city, not from my neighborhood, through my homeboy Downer. Shout out to my homeboy Downer. He's blind. He got shot in '94. He's a mentor. He does a lot of stuff with Homeboy Industries. I just took the youngsters, 5 of them, bro. Me and him, we took 5 youngsters to Homeboy Industries. One of them's already working, bro. 16 years old, bro. Already working, and we, you know, I talk to them, bro. I always talk to them about my life, and I tell them why not to be a gang member. I tell them how you can be cool and not be a gang member, bro. How you can still be respected and accepted by the homies and not be a gang member, bro. There's plenty of dudes out there like that.
How do you do it though, bro? By not being a gang member.
I'm gonna tell you
being
how.
Respected. How do you do it?
By being yourself. Being yourself, number one, and not falling into the trap of peer pressure. and just being yourself, because there's a lot of these young kids, they don't have it in them, bro, to be gangsters, to be gang members, but they have the little peer pressure, their friends, and they want to portray this little image, even through music, hip hop, whatever. They're influenced and they think that's cool. Yeah, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, you know what I mean, with the strap, and I got whoop, and doing this and doing that. But deep down, bro, they're just kids, bro. They need guidance. They need someone like you or someone like me or someone building with them and helping them, you know, get to where they need to be. I didn't have that when I was growing up. You didn't have that, more than likely, a lot of us didn't have that. So now that we're here, we're fortunate to be here. That's something that we got to offer, is tell these little guys, hey man, some of these guys watching, man, you ain't gotta do all that to be cool, man. You ain't gotta, you know what I mean? You can still be affiliated, but when it comes to some of that stuff, you don't gotta participate in that. You don't gotta go and get high and hit the pookie. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta do all that, man. Follow your dreams, man. When you're young, you have something like you wanna do. Do that. Whatever that is, do it, man. And you can still be cool. I actually will respect you more if you choose that than to play this little role and put this mask on and act like you're hard and just fall up and then end up being a statistic. You go to jail and you're gonna go to prison and everybody's gonna forget about you, or you're gonna die. Like, what's the fun in that? You know what I'm saying? I'm here to tell you, I made it this far, and I wouldn't have made the same decision if I could do it again. I'm thankful for who I am. I went through I went through, all the things I went through. But if I had a choice, I wouldn't choose that, man. I would choose life, man. And I would choose, I lost a lot of years of my life. I lost a lot of my friends, man. I went through a lot of heartache. I went through a lot of suffering, just like you. And you can't even describe the stuff that we've been through. You can't even describe that with words. You can't do it. You could try, but I'm talking about those things. There's just no way to describe it. I don't want you to go through it. You know what I'm saying? If I can help you, I'm gonna try to help you, speak some life into you, man, and reach out to me, man. I'm out here. I live far away, but I'm always out here. There's plenty of people, man, that are willing to help you, you know, and get you linked up, man. Get you the resources you need. If you don't have that, we can get you those things, man. I'll invest my time. That's what I'm here for, man. That's one of my purposes. It's not my only purpose, but it's one of my purposes is to do that. That's why I'm here with my brother right here, man. So we can, you know what I mean, build, connect, you know, let the people see what's going on. And there's a lot of people out here, man, that are doing things, you know, and to help out, man. There's no excuse, man. There's no excuse. There's people that can help you, and we're here, man.
Hey,
you know?
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, you know, like I said, coming through, bro, sharing your story, these inspiring words to our youth out there, bro. It's inspiring words to myself, bro. This is therapeutic to me as well, brother.
Yes, sir.
You know, this has been a great podcast, bro. We are 3 hours and 3 minutes into this right here, bro. And this is what's dope about good podcasts, bro. They go by quick.
Yeah, went by quick. 3 hours?
3 hours goes by quick. Any questions for the homie right here before he heads out of this mug? Excuse my language, homie. They ain't said one curse word, and I'm fucking every other word. This is
It's all right, bro. I deal with that all the time.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments is our rule plan, our rule, plain and simple. Okay, let's see what we got right here. Let's see what we got. Warrior's heart transcends through our people. Keep up the great work and content. It's all about sharing game. Hell of a way to kick off start of the week. Yes, shout out to JJ. Much love. I feel that. Yeah, much love. Start off this fucking week positive. Does he have a YouTube channel? Plug your YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, Righteous by Faith. Righteous by Faith. Type it in, Righteous by Faith channel, and it'll pop right up. You know, appreciate you. Go on there, subscribe, and you know, check out some of the content. I got a lot of stuff out there on social media. You can find me, I believe it's right there, iPedrosa78 on Instagram. If you do, sometimes I got my stuff on private because I get a lot of weird stuff, but I can kind of tell who's hitting me up, because when you put out that flyer, boom, I got all kinds of requests and stuff. I never have I had so many requests, bro. I had like 30 of them.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. But I usually try to filter them, because there's some weirdos out there, man. But because I put personal stuff, man. I put my son. Sometimes I put some stuff, personal family stuff. But if you're gonna reach out to me that way, hit me up. DM, Facebook, Isaac Pedroza. Let me know, that you came through a Hood Stocks or whatever, and that's how you can find me, man. Righteous by Faith or righteousbyfaith.com. I got a website, righteousbyfaith.com, and all my everything's on there. All my videos. I even got other stuff about my case. My wife has a couple things on there. She has like a little blog for you women. A little bit of everything, man.
Hey, Scar wants to know what made you want to change. What was the pinnacle?
What made me want to change is probably the suffering that I probably put my mom through. But internally, I was just battling a lot of stuff. And I just getting tired. But I didn't know how to change. I wanted to change years before I gave my life to the Lord, man. I'm talking about like 10 years before probably. But I was in and out. I was writing both sides, and I was deeply into the gang stuff. It was deeply rooted. And that's been one of the hardest things for me to shake, is the gang stuff, the pride of the gang, all that. That was one of the hardest things for me to leave, bro. It was really it was just addicting, bro. Just the hood.
I mean, I always say that the hardest addiction that was hard for me to kick, bro, it wasn't no drugs, bro.
Yeah.
It was the lifestyle.
Yeah, same thing.
The lifestyle
same
was
with
the
me.
hardest thing for me to kick.
Yeah.
That celebrity lifestyle of just being Sticks from Lomas, being Lucky from Highland Park, just that lifestyle. Shout out to Liquid Snipes, appreciate it. What's up, Lucky? This for Sticks. Are you familiar with
I am.
Blue Beam Project? The
fake
alien
Project
invasion?
Project Blue Beam. They got technology, bro, where they can make it seem like, let's say, because it says in the Bible that Jesus is gonna come back, right? They can make a fake Jesus come. They can do different things. And remember when they had when people were running after the the Pokemon in the park with the phones and all that?
Can I tell you a story about that?
Yeah.
So check it out, bro. I'm living in Glasso Park, bro. I'm chilling on the porch with my homie and shit, dog. This was a few years back, dog. When they were in, so a car pulled up, bro. A car pulled up and stopped right in front of the crib, dog. And they stood there with their windows up. I couldn't see in. Windows are tinted, bro. You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, I turned the phone up. Who the fuck is this right here, dog? What the fuck? Waited for a minute, kind of like whoop, whoop, couldn't see, you know what I mean? And so I said, fuck it, dog. I went up to the fucking thing, dog, knocked on the window. They were the new, and I said, what's up, homie? I said, you looking for somebody? And they said, and you know what they told me? They said, simultaneously, we're looking for Pokemon.
Bro, when I seen that, I told my wife, I was like, they're experimenting, they're practicing, because they got technology, bro. They got some crazy technology, man, like crazy stuff. But yeah, that's my answer. I do believe in that. Another someone asked if I believe in what I think about Victory Outreach. I came out of Victory Outreach. I started through Victory Outreach. I went into the men's home when I got out of my case. I went into a Victory Outreach men's home in Brawley, California. Shout out to Victory Outreach. I love them. Those are my brothers and sisters. I'm no longer part of that ministry. I got a lot of homeboys that are. I do a lot of stuff with them. I even go to their church when I'm out here in LA. I go to Victory Outreach West Covina. And I love them, bro. I love them. I'm in a different ministry. No ministry is perfect. Every ministry has their little issues. I ended up leaving that ministry. I won't get into that. But the Lord kind of like led me out and led me to where I'm at now. But for the most part, shout out to them, man. They reach a lot of gang members, bro. A lot of people like us.
I mean, what do you feel about Victory Outreach not supporting, lesbians, gays? You know what I mean? They don't.
I don't support that either, bro. I'm not gonna. It's not that I believe Jesus paid for. I don't say their sin is worse than mine. I don't say that, but I do say that I don't agree with being openly. God came for everybody, but to be openly a man being with another man, that's not the natural course of life. And I have a son, I'm a father. So they're trying to teach this in schools. They have an agenda where they're trying to push this onto the, you can't call me a bigot because I stand on biblical principles. I stand on what the Bible says. I'm a believer of Christ. I can't say, oh, it's cool for you to just openly and just because Jesus loves everyone, that's cool. No, there's a place for you. I know there's gay people that have given their life to God and they're no longer gay. They're heterosexual, bro. They're married.
Come on, stop
They're married.
it, dog. Once
Bro,
you're gay, you're always gay,
no,
bro.
okay. You may have those sexual
Is it like a
temptations.
drug habit
No,
that you
listen
gotta
to this.
kick or what?
Check this out. In the same way that you can have a sexual urge towards the same whatever you call it, male or female, it's the same way you can have an urge for someone of the opposite sex. So okay, let me paint you a better picture. I'm a married man, okay? If I have an urge towards a female, okay, another female that's not my wife, that's just as bad as a gay person doing having that urge towards the same gender, okay? Now this is a big topic, controversial, okay? I don't got nothing against gay people, bro. There's gay people in my family, okay? But I'm saying this because I stand on what God's word says. I'm not gonna go off what society says, because in society 40 years ago, it wasn't okay for what do you call those? The transvestite or people, someone that dresses up like a woman. What do you call that? They're teaching in schools.
Fucking weirdo.
Bro, they're letting these people come to teach in schools to kids. Now I'm a father. My son's 3 years old. I think differently now, bro. Because now I don't want my son to be confused about sexuality, man. I don't want my son thinking it's okay for a man to put his ding-a-ling in another man's booty. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's not normal. That
But
goes.
what about female on female?
Well, same thing.
Hold that thought real quick. Talk to the audience, and then I'll come back and we'll end it out.
Okay.
But I really got to take a leak.
Okay,
and,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't want to end it with me fucking.
Yeah,
you know.
nah. I to end this, man. I don't like. Once again, I don't have nothing against homosexual people, but as a father, as someone that has to live in society, I don't think that is right. That they're pushing this. They're kind of pushing this agenda on society, and those of us that don't agree with it, we become bigots. Like, oh no, you're wrong. You're wrong. And that's not cool, man. Cause like I said, what if the whole world said, let's all just be gay? There would be no procreation. There wouldn't be no kids and no babies. So naturally, we know that the natural course of things is for a man to be with the woman, and the seed goes into the egg. That's natural. That's how we reproduce. And anything that goes against the way natural societies, the way human life is developed, then it's not normal. Okay, it's not normal. It's like now they're trying to push the pedophilia. They're trying to normalize pedophilia. Where's it gonna end? They're trying to say that, okay, well, that's cool, man. It's cool if you're a pedophile. Like, nah, man, that's not cool, man. It's not cool for a man to be with someone that's a child, man, an innocent child. That is not cool. So that's why I feel the way I feel about it. But I know it's a controversial subject. I know a lot of people might in the comments, be saying, contrary, and that's cool. You got the right to believe what you want, but he asked me what I believe. That's what I believe. But any other questions? Before we close up, let me guess, y'all believe in aliens? About the aliens, no, I don't believe in aliens. I believe the aliens are actually fallen angels, and the Bible does talk about this. They are fallen angels, and yeah, I that's what I believe. I believe that these aliens, they want us to believe they're aliens from some crazy outer space planet, but these fallen angels, they actually fell from heaven, and they're here on earth, man. They're here on earth, and they're spiritual beings, but they have, they have a lot of Satan, he's organized, man. He's organized. He has his hand in education, politics, entertainment, all these different things. And yeah, so that's what I believe about these aliens. Let's see. Unicide. I appreciate all you guys, you know, all your support, man, all your positive comments. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to the Goonies, you know what I mean? And I appreciate my boy right here for letting me even openly talk about some of this. I know a lot of it's controversial, but hey, I've seen a lot of controversial topics on my boy's platform, so you know what I mean? It's just to add on to it, you know?
Sorry about that, guys. I muted myself. I went to the liquor store real quick and got me this. I took a leak and I got me a shot of this right here because I'm really enjoying this conversation with this homie right here. Very articulate, very, very, very sharp, dog. Very sharp
Appreciate
homies.
that,
I love
bro.
it when I have sharp homies on here, dog, because it makes me look a little smarter. You know what I mean?
You're pretty sharp yourself, bro. You be on it.
I'm really not, dog. I mean, I've been a fucking just a goofball all my life, bro.
But to be able to do this, bro, and manage this, it takes a little bit of
takes a little
brains,
bit, yeah,
you know?
a little bit, dog. I got a couple brain cells left, dog, that I didn't fucking fry out, dog. You know what I mean? But sometimes the fried out brain cells fucking shines very bright, and I'm just like, what a dick. But it is what it is. I don't hide nothing, dog. I am who I am, dog. You know what I mean? But this has been a fucking great podcast, brother.
Yes, sir.
Well worth it. Motherfucking on a Monday. Thank you for everybody that stuck around this long. 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Shout out to all you guys, man.
Yeah, let me take this shot real quick.
Yeah.
Let me take this shot.
You got a good chunk of people, bro, that you know, good stuff, man.
That fuck with the... I mean, so this is what I'm going to ask you. What was the controversial topics that you've seen with this podcast?
Man, I don't remember. I remember you bringing up certain stuff like...
Was it me or was it a guest?
No. I think questions... I can't honestly...
Certain questions that were kind of funny?
Yeah,
Like, why do you
certain
ask
questions
that?
like that normally
You don't
create...
ask.
No. Not that you don't ask, but certain questions that you know people are going to be divided on.
Yeah.
Okay, like even especially Trump, bro. Especially the whole Trump thing. Anything, bro. Politics, religion, anything that causes a divide. That right there is controversial. But we need to have those conversations, bro. You have to have those conversations, man. If you don't have those conversations, everybody just walking around suppressing everything. Like, nah.
I mean, I have those conversations, dog, because I want to know what motherfuckers think, dog. And they might be able to drop something on me, dog, to help me evolve my thought process.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, on a platform like this, it's important because you never know how it's going to touch one of them, bro. You never know. What if there's a kid right here that just is, I'm not saying that we're responsible, but what I'm saying is it can ignite something. It can spark a match or a flame, and it can add on to something he already heard somewhere else, or something he gained here. Later on, he's gonna hear it somewhere else, and it can help shape that person. And so, it's important to have these conversations, bro. That's why I do it. That's why I do what I do. That's why I go on these platforms, because I know the power of influence, bro. I've been influenced by people. And if someone can see us having this conversation, they can be like, whoa, I never seen it like that. You know what I mean? And they're gonna go dig. And I wanna say, anything that I've said today, I encourage you guys to go check it out. Go research some of the stuff that I've said, because I haven't been able to like really dig into a lot of stuff. But that's what I do. Even if a pastor says it, I don't believe it just because a pastor says it. That dude could be misleading me just like anybody. So that's why I go and I search it out myself, and I pray and I ask God, you know, is what this man saying true? Let me see in your word. Let's see what your word says. Because we all got the same word, and we could all say, someone could twist it up. Nah, that's actually not what it says. You know what I mean? So I go and I try to dig in, and not just that, I'll do research outside of the Bible. There's a lot of other stuff you can dig into and see if what someone is saying is true, or see if there's weight behind that. Because someone could come on here, they could say whatever, man. They could sound good, but it may not be true, or they might mix a little truth with a whole bunch of error.
And there are good car salesmen. There's a lot
Exactly.
of ministers. There's a lot of preachers. There's a lot of people that are they're good used car salesmen. Dog, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? And they're selling to the fucking. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anyways, bro. But hey, I love what you're saying, my boy. I respect it. Like I said, I mean, I agree with everything, but I respect it and I love hearing it, dog, because this is equal opportunity platform to express how you feel, dog. And I will never like battle it like 100% if I'm like, oh hell no, he's wrong, and then we'll have that conversation, bro. Like, like grown men.
No, even
bro.
even if you completely disagree, that's cool, because I don't expect you to believe like me, and vice versa. But we can still,
As men.
we should still be
As men.
We should still be able to shake hands, hug, whatever, and still encourage each other and help each other out. And not agree, bro. I don't agree with everything my wife thinks. I don't agree with everything my pastor thinks. I don't agree with everything my brother in Christ thinks. Nah. But, you know, I know what I believe and I stand firm in that. And I encourage everybody else to go and search it out, man. And seek it out and see where it leads you, man. You know?
Liquid Snipes. Thank you for that $5,
Liquid
my G.
Snipes, that's right.
Check it out. He's got a question. Are you familiar with Wayside NCCF? And if so, can you speak on it? My brother has been there almost 3 years, and now I send him a package when I can.
I don't know if you could get packages there, but
that's the NCCF, isn't that medium?
that's
or something?
Supermax.
Oh, is that-
NCCF is Supermax. I know Supermax like the back of my hand. You probably do too. I've been in all of them, man. 5,000, 6,000, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, which is a whole. Supermax used to be cracking, man. That's where all the shit used to crack, man. The riots.
They're saying, are you familiar? Yeah, we're familiar with the Wayside and shit, dog. You know, no reading. What luck can I get on the podcast? I mean, if you got something good to speak on, my G, off the top, yeah, my G. Commissary. Liquid Snipes is saying commissary. You familiar with commissary? I mean, commissary and Wayside is expensive as fuck. You know what I mean? I like the homie said.
Remember
right here.
Prime Time?
Yeah, like bro, I love Prime Time.
Remember Prime Time?
The Prime Times? You
Yeah,
mean
the Prime Time, that mix.
Yeah.
Remember
That
that?
shit was super bomb, dog. Prime Times was fire as fuck. Got any fish? Got any fish stories? I don't get that.
Fish stories? I just went to Lake, supposedly fishing, but I don't even think there was any fish in that place.
Why would you go to Lake fishing?
Because they
bro?
had an overnight fishing, and my homeboy told me about it. My homeboy Lucky, and I asked the youngsters, the ones that I told you I took to homeboy.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you guys want to go fishing? Because they never.
Whoever asked them to go fishing.
Yeah, right. So I was like, hey, and I never really been fishing, bro. So I was like, it's cool, something cool to do. So we went. It was an overnight thing. We stayed there till like, I don't know, 12, 1 in the morning, and then we left. But you know, it's something cool to do, bro. And it was just a family oriented thing. I ran into some dudes over there that knew me from the county, some dude from Maravilla, a homie from Bassett. Yeah, it was cool though, bro. Overall, it was cool. We barbecued,
Yeah, no doubt, dog. Hey, so I just want to give a big shout out to the homie right here. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. Salud.
Salute, dog. Hey, everybody, his Instagram is right on the bottom right there. You see that right there? Bam. Wait, where was that? There it is right there. There it is right there. Thank you so much for everybody that tapped in, stayed with us, commented. We didn't ask all questions, but I try to get through some of them. Close the podcast without Lucky. You fools, Conversation Nation. Watch The Last Narc on Amazon. I'm going to check that shit out. But hey, I want everybody to give it up for the homie, Sticks, Varrio, Lomas, a.k.a., or I should have said the opposite way, Raul, Isaac.
Pedroza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Been amazing.
Appreciate it, man.
Been amazing, my boy.